Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our family leisure studios. Lee Aldwin Seabury with us as well. We're Sports Time, and we're with you for the next 3 hours. A whole lot of news to get into. U.S. Open, we got to make our picks a little bit later in the show. We'll talk some wagering as well, as Bruce Marshall's going to join us earlier this week than his regular date on Friday. We'll talk a lot of basketball with Game 3 tonight in Dallas, but also very sad news earlier this morning. Jerry West, the logo, has passed away. Just coming right off the heels of Bill Walton passing away a couple weeks ago. So definitely really sad news in the NBA. We'll discuss a lot of that this afternoon as well. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm well, Brian, and it's indeed the passing of a legend. You could argue that Jerry West's professional basketball resume and college resume, his life in basketball resume, that there's not a basketball resume out there that comes close to it. Maybe not another sports resume, because he checked so many boxes in so many areas, from college player, as I said. We were talking about him yesterday. He was MOP of the Final Four. I was in Era yesterday. I said on a third-place team, on a runner-up team. His team lost in the finals to Cal and Coach Pete Newell. And Pete Newell, legendary basketball guy, was kind of always, in the basketball world. But they beat they lost to Darryl Imhoff and the Cal Golden Bears that year. 1960 Olympic team. The 1960 Olympic team, when they entered the stadium in Rome, There's some great pictures out there of Jerry West with Muhammad Ali. Wow. On that team was Rayford Johnson. Also on that team, Wilma Rudolph. The basketball team was loaded with Jerry Lucas and Oscar Robertson. So, and then he goes pro, and he goes pro at a time that paralleled the Lakers leaving Minneapolis for Hollywood.
Yeah.
In 1960, 1961, the whole country was moving to California.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it was almost a gold rush again, for the great weather and the business opportunities and the population, the growth, everything that was going its way. That they moved out there. The last year in Minneapolis, and the Minneapolis Lakers, it is quite a history. The Lakers won it 5 times.
Wow.
in the Twin Cities, but those Minneapolis winners and the arena that they played in, the Forum had not been built yet, but it was on the books.
Sure.
A little bit like the Grizzlies. You come to Memphis and play it at the Pyramid, and we're building you FedEx Forum. Well, the Lakers had the Forum about to be built for them, and played at the Los Angeles. Was it the Coliseum? It was right by the football stadium. Maybe the Los Angeles Sports Arena, I think, was the name of it. And it sat right by the Coliseum. And the Clippers even played there not that long ago.
Yeah.
And it was, a famous arena there. But with the Forum on the books, the Minneapolis Lakers played in a National Guard armory their last year in Minneapolis.
Wow.
So they get Jerry West, and he goes out there, and the rest is indisputably, undeniably, a huge chapters.
Yeah.
Like 25 chapters of NBA and American sports lore. And his teams, he only won one, and that's why I think he burned so hot that he only won one, and he wanted to win every one of them as a front office guy, and he just about did. So many things being talked about today about him. It's hard to point out the number one legacy item for him. I think it's drafting Kobe Bryant.
Oh, man. I mean, that's
at 13th.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sitting there at 1 and it's a no-brainer for Shaq or no-brainer for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Down at 13th, and I have that draft in front of me. And I think if we redrafted, Kobe would go 1.
Probably. I don't even know who's in that draft, but I would say feel pretty good about Kobe.
Well, it's not bad.
Okay.
Allen Iverson went 1 to Philadelphia. Marcus Camby,
right.
2 to Toronto. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, 3 to the Vancouver Grizzlies. Stephen Marbury, 4 to Milwaukee. Ray Allen, 5 to Minnesota.
That's a pretty good draft. Holy cow.
We're just getting rolling.
Holy cow.
Antoine Walker, 6 to Boston. Lorenzen Vern Gagne Wright, 7 to the Clippers. Kerry Kittles to the Nets. John Calipari running the Nets.
Whoa.
And John Calipari wanted to draft Kobe Bean Bryant, and Kobe said, "I go play in Italy before I go play for the Nets." Cal has since run from that story, but it's true.
Wow.
Samari Walker, 9 to Dallas. Eric Dampier, 10 to Indianapolis. Todd Fuller, 11 to Golden State. Vitaly Potapenko, 12 to Cleveland. And 13, Kobe Bean Bryant to Charlotte, and the trade was made, and the rest is history.
That's incredible. I mean, with some great names. I did not know what to expect with that draft. And then when you said Allen Iverson, I remember that
You
was
want
his
me to
draft.
keep going with that draft?
Please, give me some more names.
Peja Stojakovic, 14.
Oh, wow.
Steve Nash, 15.
Holy cow.
Tony Delk from Brownsville, Tennessee, MOP of the Final Four for the Kentucky Wildcats, 16. Jermaine O'Neal, 17.
Holy cow.
John Wallace on a Final Four team at Syracuse, 18. Walter McCarty, 19. Zydrunas Ilgauskas, 20.
Wow. That's
Big
a
Zeke,
really
20.
good draft. Holy cow.
Dante Jones from Mississippi State, 21. Roy Rogers, 22. Derek Fisher went 24.
Wow.
That's a draft.
That's good stuff. I mean,
But we know if we redraft, who goes one?
I think you still feel pretty good. Kobe goes number one.
I do too.
I don't think that's very hard.
And that's no knock on Allen
No,
Iverson.
not at all. I love AI, but man,
I do too.
Kobe
Best small
is,
player ever.
Kobe is you're absolutely right about that one. And you mentioned we were just talking Jerry West yesterday when we were talking about the only 5 teams in the history of the finals have come back from down 2-0, and Jerry West was on the losing end of that in 1969, but still won MVP of the finals, which is just incredible. I mean, that's unthinkable these days, and the fact that he was able to do that is crazy.
And I've said about any time that the player on a losing bowl team that's MVP or a losing Final Four team, hadn't been one since Akeem Olajuwon in '83 when they lost to NC State, and I'm convinced they handed the ballots out at the 4-minute media mark. Just wait till the end of the game. Wait till the end of the series. And even for Jerry West that year, I mean, on the other side, the victor has to be more valuable than the defeated.
Right, for sure. I mean, they won the whole thing.
Also in that same draft, way down 52nd pick in the second round, Coach Mark Pope.
Really?
CATS, Cats.
What a great video. Wow, that's a heck of a draft. I had no idea that all those guys were in that draft.
I don't think I did either till I got to poking around today. But and to try to buttress my contention, I'm not arguing, and if somebody has a difference in opinion, please lodge it. I'd love for you to. But there's so much to choose from on the best work of Jerry West.
For sure. I mean, like you said, it's his career when you just as a player, but then when you put in everything, I mean, that is a massive book of things to choose from. And like you said, there's just so many things to choose from. And I know, like Mike Miller posted today, he was the GM here in Memphis when Mike was drafted. And so, I know a lot of Memphians love them some Mike Miller. I love me some Mike Miller. So yeah, I mean, and that's definitely probably down the list from Kobe Bryant, but no, just a really remarkable life and a basketball life nonetheless. And
there was a time. Now, the back injuries really got to Mike Miller, but Mike Miller had a great NBA career.
Absolutely.
It's not Hall of Fame, but it's in Hall of really good.
Oh, yeah, Hall of definitely helpful. I think LeBron James probably thanks Mike Miller that he had him down in Miami sometime.
I think most people right now out there in the basketball world at 19 or 20, if you gave them the option, now look, It could go really, really better than this, or it could go much worse. You have to take Mike Miller's basketball life. Would you take it? You better sign up for it.
I'll take it every day.
That's the bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush.
That's right.
You better take that deal. Bright, there was a time I really thought, now I talk about Luka Doncic maybe being the next Larry Bird.
Sure.
I thought there was a time I thought Mike Miller was either the next Larry Bird or the next Jerry West.
Really? Wow.
And wasn't Larry Bird kind of the next Jerry West?
It sure was, yeah.
That kind of player, inside, outside, could handle, could pass, could defend, and heart of a champion.
Oh, yeah. No,
and that's what made Jerry West burn I think, with, burned really white hot with a lot of contempt. He had his game face on almost every time you ran into him. Mm-hmm. And Brian, I've told you before, and I have a great card collection.
Sure.
And some of my favorite cards, and it's not that many of my NBA, ABA cards, but one year, and I can't remember the year, I'm going to say early 70s, toward the end of Jerry West's career. That year, Topps had a lot of the players pose for their card picture with their jerseys on backwards.
Okay,
and the picture you see is West 44, Chamberlain 13.
Yeah.
And for a lot of teams out there, and that was some of my, I don't remember what year it was with Topps, but I'm going to say early 70s. Mm-hmm. I know. Well, it had to be. He retired 72, 73, and Wilt Chamberlain went to the Conquistadors to coach in the ABA. So in about 74, 75, or in those years, so it was one of those, and I gave him one of those cards when he was in town.
That's awesome. Wow, that's
and he really liked visiting about the shoot that day, and them suggesting to turn the jerseys on backwards.
That's awesome. Let's see, 71 maybe?
Oh, that early in the 70s. I was thinking 72, 73. Okay.
I just kind of quick searched, and I see one card that comes up, and it says 71. So
it was most of the league posing in that style too.
Yeah. I see Jerry West right here. I like that. That's fun.
I had several of those cards. I didn't give him my last one.
It looks like 72 was the year with West.
Okay.
I think they did some in 71, and then West was in 72.
And Wiltz was so good too.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing Wiltz as well.
Oh, is it?
It's just kind of little pictures of all of them. But there's some nice cards. I tell you what.
But see if you can find an ABA card. I don't think they had the ABA have the jerseys on backwards, because I had a Dr. J Virginia Squires, and it was like a normal headshot or waist up shot.
Yeah, it looks like at least again very quickly looking at this stuff. But it does look like the ABA cards, exact same style. Everything is the exact same style. It's just
I may show up tomorrow bearing cards.
Ooh, don't tease me. Yes, here's a Julius Erving 1972 Topps card.
What team?
The Squires.
Okay, yeah,
and his jersey is facing frontward. So it looks like NBA did backwards, ABA did regular. Interesting.
ABA was they were more backwards than the NBA.
Well, I was about to say maybe they messed up on that a little bit. Maybe
it was anything goes at the Coliseum.
Well, that's good times, I guess.
Went to watch Wilt Chamberlain coach. We're crossing over the new bridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And it's 50 years old.
Yeah.
Going to the doctor. I've been going to the doctor my whole life. Going to the doctor and like a 3:00 appointment, and we're crossed over for the first time. And my mother says, that first time across the new bridge. Oh yeah, great. and I'd already talked to her, and kind of the reward for going to the doctor. She said, we'll go to the game, and she said, let me get this straight. We're going to watch somebody coach. And I said, yes, Wilt Chamberlain.
That's right. That's great. How was it? Did he coach a good game?
I don't remember much about the game. They had Bo Lamar on their team, and he was quite a player, and he had played on Southwest Louisiana, now Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, when the Tigers beat them in the NCAA tournament just a few years before that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of wanting to see Bo Lamar, too.
Sure, yeah. Interesting. Well,
But it was a cozy atmosphere at the Coliseum a lot of nights for the ABA.
Yeah, I believe it. But that's ABA sounds like it was fun.
But got to see Larry Brown in it.
Sure.
Got to see Charlie Scott in it.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. Why not?
But Jerry West was kind of the antithesis of the ABA.
Yeah,
because he was the logo.
Sure, absolutely, and
he was very corporate and very NBA and legendary sports figure.
Oh, absolutely, and so definitely sad news today of his passing. Came out earlier this morning, probably around 8:45, 9 o'clock or so is when I first saw the news. Yeah, so definitely early this morning, definitely sad. And like I said, Bill Walton just a couple weeks ago, and now Jerry West. A sad couple of weeks for the NBA losing some great Hall of Fame players. But we'll talk a lot more about that.
And Jerry West had a stint coaching the Lakers.
That's
that
right.
wasn't bad.
Yeah.
They had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the
Well,
post.
that makes it easier. I don't want to take
And I
anything
want
away
to say
from
he
him.
may have even had a run doing their games on radio, or did he do TV? We'll ask
Really?
Bruce Marshall and know.
Yeah, and that's I hate this news, but having Bruce Marshall on today will be very interesting, informative, because I know he was a big Lakers fan in those days, so I know he'll have a lot of stories about Jerry West. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, like I mentioned, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BamSports.net. He'll be joining us today rather than when he usually joins us on Friday. So we'll talk a lot about Jerry West, but we'll also get some picks from him. Major League Baseball today, Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Might even get a hockey pick from him as well. Plenty to talk about with Bruce. 3:45, we'll talk more about the NBA Finals. A massive game tonight for the Dallas Mavericks. If they want to stay in this series, it feels like tonight is a must-win. 4 o'clock, John Gowen. He'll join us from Timber Trust Golf, talk some golf, and make the picks for the U.S. Open this weekend. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. Good night of baseball last night, and maybe some questionable fan reaction last night to Paul Skeens after his outing. A standing ovation in St. Louis for the visiting pitcher. So very interesting there.
Best fans in baseball.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know how I feel about rooting for a standing O for the opposing pitcher, but
Got a wild one going in Minnesota right now.
I haven't even watched it.
I hope you bet the over.
I bet the first 5 Minnesota minus half a run. First 5.
Minnesota up 10-8.
All right. Okay. So that means we should at least have had that in the first 5. So that'll be good. We'll talk a lot of baseball at 4:30, a couple of day games today. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Rob Fisher from Grind City Media. He'll join us to talk the NBA and Grizzlies. A lot to talk about with Rob. Also, Brett will continue to tease his perfect manager for the St. Louis Cardinals with Rob.
Revolutionary pick.
Wow. So it feels like as the days go on, this is getting bigger and bigger. Like the lore of this next manager is growing. I've got to say.
Old days, it would be top of the fold in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch of the hire.
I love it. Okay, all right. Well, we'll get more of that at 5 o'clock with Rob as we talk basketball and a little
front
bit of everything.
page, not the sports page.
Oh, front page. Wow. Okay,
Yes.
wow. I mean, it's going to be massive before we even learn who it is. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer is here, and it's time to party. 24-foot above-ground pool for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off, play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas 20% off. Also, 4-person hot tubs only $29.99, and discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So make sure you head out to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Lee Ogden Seaperry. You got Bryant, you got Brett, and you've got us until 6 o'clock on Sports Time. And we want you to be a part of our show. Your thoughts on Jerry West and his time here in Memphis. We'd love them at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin talk and text line, 901-360-8255. And all our guests will join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking, you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, I'm just going to try to rope everything together. I don't know if that's fair or not, but it's the NBA. Today is a massive
consequential day.
It really is. I mean, it is a massive day for the NBA, starting the morning with the extremely sad news, the loss of Jerry West. And I know today has kind of turned into a tribute day for Jerry West with a lot of very interesting, fun stories about Jerry West, his life in basketball, the people he touched. You're getting a lot of that this morning and throughout the day, and that's only going to grow as we get closer and closer to Game 3 tonight in Dallas. I'm sure we'll have a lot of tributes pre-game. I'm sure they'll do a moment of silence before the game, something to remember Jerry before the game. So definitely a sad day, and it's going to be a big topic because a legend that we have lost today. What he did throughout his life in basketball. I mean, you can't label him just a player, just an executive. He was basketball. He's the logo, and so definitely a really sad day in the basketball world. But tonight, Game 3, Dallas and Boston. We'll see what Dallas can bring tonight. I said it a couple seconds ago. It feels as must-win as any game can be. If they want to hang around, if they want to stay in this series, it starts tonight with a win. They'll need Kyrie Irving to play better, give them more offensive production, but they'll also need some of those other guys, the Derek Lively's and the Derek Jones and those sort of guys that have really played their roles well. Gafford, another guy, Washington, those guys that really stepped up throughout the playoffs. This was a full team effort that got them here, but that full team effort has not shown up through the first two games. They'll need that tonight if they want to beat Boston.
Think about Jerry West. Passes at 86, beautiful life, long, well-lived, and how anybody would handle you live 86 years and at least 68 of that in the public limelight.
Yeah. It's a long time.
How many people could do that?
No, not many. Not many at all.
And he did, and a life well lived. That's my top story, the death of Jerry West, 86 years old, for number 44, the logo. Gold medal winner, MVP of a Final Four on a runner-up NBA Finals on a defeated team, but also a champion. Front office work was probably better and more legendary than his legendary epic play on the court. Drafting Kobe Bryant 13th, I think, is his best work.
Yeah.
I'd love for people who have something else
for sure
that they think is a better note. And he gave us in Memphis, we were in the major leagues, but he gave us our first stamp of legitimacy.
Absolutely.
Of the Memphis Grizzlies, way down there in Memphis, mattering. And it was a great stroke by Mike Heisley and Stan Meadows to hire him, and then his hiring of Hubie Brown was as off the charts of any hire. Nobody saw that coming. And at that time, the Grizzlies franchise was a leak machine, and nobody saw Hubie Brown coming. And Hubie Brown taught everybody here a lot about basketball.
He absolutely did. That's a great point by you, just his impact here locally. Kind of later in his career.
Top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it's got to be this news coming out of Louisville. It sounds like an assistant basketball coach was on some sort of, whether it was their summer tours or a regular coaches show, whatever it might be. He was talking last night and was asked about future scheduling, what could be on the books, and said that they're working very hard to get a home 4 games with the University of Memphis.
Bring it on.
We were just talking about this late last week about
Tennessee and Louisville.
That's right. Yes, and trying to get something back with Louisville. And I said, I think Pat Kelsey goes in there, and he's a guy that if you approach him and say, we want to play, that he's going to want to play anybody. Pat Kelsey, I think, is a name that a lot of people know, but I think a lot of people are about to learn. A very fired-up coach and very animated on the bench, very animated at practices, has had some really, really good teams at Charleston these last few years. Now is taken over at Louisville. I think is going to do really good things with Louisville, and that would be such a fun game to watch from a coaching perspective. Penny Hardaway on one side, Pat Kelsey on the other. Both those coaches would have their teams ready to go for that game. It would be a really, really fun game to watch. So I hope they get it. It sounds like it's in the works and it's close. It's at least closer than most of these feel when you're just talking about them. So I hope soon we're talking about, in the future, maybe starting next year, not this upcoming season, but maybe that next year, starting a series with Louisville. That'd be a lot of fun.
I want Jerry West thoughts at the text line, but also this at the Sissy's Log Cabin text line, 901-360-8255. Is it Louisville, is it Arkansas, or is it Tennessee? In basketball, biggest rival ever for the Tigers.
Question.
Who is it? Is it Louisville, Arkansas, or Tennessee? I don't think it's even close.
No.
Not top story. The greats have the perfect timing, don't they? They always seem to. That's why they're great. And tonight in Dallas, the league will and should celebrate and highlight and commemorate and memorialize the life of Jerry West. And it will make tonight in Dallas seem even bigger. It's big enough as it was going to be, but this will even make it more. The Mavericks, they have the puncher's chance of winning this if they win tonight, to be only down 2-1. If they're down 0-3, then only thing in doubt is when the parade will take place in Boston. And to have Boston on that stage tonight, Jerry West's arch enemy, the Boston Celtics, tonight, their fans, their organizational people that are at that game, they're going to have to look up and see that video tribute and all the tributes around, at the game tonight and around the league. They're going to have to look up there and see Jerry West in their moment. They had the flirtation with Hurley last week,
that's right,
a little bit, and now the Lakers will be prominent tonight. Dallas does things in a big way. Tonight will feel big.
It absolutely will. Well, that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. We need to go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk more about Jerry West. We'll also talk some wagering with Bruce Marshall.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
June. It's wedding season.
It is.
Or as I like to call it, Free Central Barbecue Month.
Who's what now?
Well, not that I don't enjoy weddings. I do, especially the ones that I can tell are going to be a disaster. But what I love about weddings is that so many people choose Central Barbecue to cater the food at the reception.
You root for marriages to fail?
Not exactly root. I just enjoy drama and free barbecue. I like to sit there and enjoy my plate of Central Barbecue with beans and slaw and wait for things to blow up.
At the reception?
Ideally. I mean, I won't be around to see it otherwise. Plus, Free Central Barbecue.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799 or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Everyone is loving what they are doing at Genesis Diamonds right now. Hi, it's Eric Hasseltine inviting you to get the ring of your dreams and take advantage of 0% financing for 5 years. You can get a handcrafted designer ring with a GIA certified diamond for only $100 a month. Wedding bands, color bands, fashion necklaces, just $40 a month. Pick any item, pay $0 down, and spread your payments over 5 years. Don't miss this amazing offer. All natural and lab-grown diamonds included. Now through the end of June only, and only at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway and Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Here's what we see. Slow-go traffic already waiting for you over here on 240 East up by Poplar as traffic cranks up even more coming out of Midtown just in the last few minutes. I-40 on the increase westbound at Danny Thomas headed towards the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, BameSports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with Hayden County and Sports Talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Well, Bruce Marshall usually joins us Friday afternoons, but he's nice enough to join us earlier this week. On a Wednesday. So it's not Friday, anybody. I hope nobody's now disappointed hearing that intro thinking
We set our clocks
Friday
by Bruce.
afternoon. That's right. That's absolutely right. But Bruce Marshall joins us now from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. I want to talk some wagering. I want to talk picks, but first and foremost, the sad passing earlier today about Jerry West. What did you make of that news and just the legacy of the logo?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this really hits us hard. We had a bunch of these lately. I mean, especially for people that grew up in L.A. with Roman Gabriel last month and Walton, O.J., too, a little before that. But, I mean, these are all, like, from the golden era in L.A. And, it was very just kind of jarring because nobody had really, known that he was sick. Or that this was coming here. I thought he would kind of live forever. But by me, anybody who grew up in the 60s watching him, and I certainly did in L.A., and he was the best. I still think he's the best basketball player I've ever seen. And the game was better in the 60s. It really was. Just go back and watch some of the old films there, and what West could do on both ends of the floor was tremendous. And we know, I mean, he could have won a few more titles as a player, very close. I mean, 62, 66, 69, 70. Even in 68, the Lakers could have beaten Boston that year. They took Game 5 into overtime and lost in Boston, and they lost in Game 6. But he was part of the greatest, maybe the greatest NBA team ever. 72 won a title, so he did win a title as a player. But he was the NBA front office exec of all time. What he did in, spearheading the Laker, the whole Showtime thing. I mean, that was a West creation. And he would move on wherever he seemed to move in his career. Just kind of had that golden touch as an executive. So we won't see another one like him. I will always think he's the best player I ever saw. And I don't know that anybody ever contributed as much to basketball as he did. I mean, he was a great college player. He got West Virginia, into the Final Four, Olympic gold medalist in 60. And as I mentioned to Brett a little while ago, he had a short stint on the CBS as a color analyst
TV
the year after he retired. He and Oscar Robertson both worked for CBS there for a year. And Big O might have stayed a couple more years. Then West went and coached the Lakers after that. But he actually was on TV for a little bit too. Worked with Don Criqui on some games back in the mid-'70s.
Did he ever do radio beside Chick Hearn?
He never did work with Hearn. He just went straight into the network TV thing. Hearn had Riley worked with Hearn for a while, but Chick had Hot Rod Hundley, and then he had Lynn Shackelford, Riley for a little bit, and Stu Lance then came on board. Keith Erickson for a few years, but Wes never worked with Chick on the radio. But Wes was a very visible guy in L.A. I mean, he had spent his whole pro career in L.A., so he was, as visible in L.A., even in retirement, and then, of course, coaching the Lakers, and then as the exec. He was never far away. He was always around. And, L.A.'s, I dare say he's the greatest sports celebrity in L.A. history.
Bruce, I was talking about what they left in Minneapolis. They were playing in a National Guard armory their last year in the Twin Cities. When they moved to Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Sports Arena, didn't it sit right there on the property by the Coliseum?
Yes, and I was just talking about it with some other people this week before the West News, just about what a great arena the sports arena was. Opened up in '60 and late '59. The Lakers actually played some games in some different venues before in L.A. for a short while, the Shrine Auditorium and a few other places before they moved into the sports arena, where they had the 1960 Democratic Convention, where JFK was nominated, so that was an early event there. But it was a great building. It was right next to the Coliseum until just a few years ago. Now there is an MLS stadium that sits where the sports arena used to sit. But, and it was I thought it was a great venue. The sightlines were great. The acoustics in there were like no building I've ever heard. It was the best acoustics ever. The booming sound of the PA announcers and the crowd and the bands and all that when the colleges were playing there. So yeah, it was right next to the Coliseum where the sports arena sat.
You mentioned the kind of the snake-bitten teams for Jerry West to go against those storied Celtic teams. Bruce, it's a lot like maybe Phil Mickelson. He comes along in any other era of golf. He's right there with Jack Nicklaus. He comes along in the Tiger era. Jerry West gets to NBA Finals against Bill Russell and John Havlicek in the Boston Celtics. Any other time, he would have won 5 or 6.
Yeah, you're right. And, Wilt could say the same thing, too. And, but Wilt won a couple rings, and the two he won with were two of the greatest teams in NBA history, the Sixers. 67, who, by the way, Chet Walker, we just lost another one this week from that great Sixers team, and the Lakers. But so Wilt and West have both, I think, sort of been, unfairly. It seems to hang over Wilt a bit more than West about not winning the big ones. But they did get rings. Boston just won a lot of them, and they won a lot of them very closely. But even winning one ring is a big deal. West got one of those as a player. He got a lot more of those as an exec too. So that's a career we're really not going to see again, I don't think.
Yeah, you're right about that. And tonight, I'm sure we'll get a lot of tributes and a lot of Jerry West talk before, during the NBA Finals game tonight between Dallas and Boston. Right now, Boston with a commanding 2-0 lead in this series. What have you made of what you've seen so far, and what do you think happens tonight?
Dallas is in real trouble here. Maybe they can make a stand here at home, but a couple of things here really alarming. Beyond the obvious, they're not shooting threes that well. They're not shooting as many threes as Boston. Certainly not as many catch and shoots. Kyrie is really struggling. Luka is really playing on one leg here. He's not able to do as much defensively. Less than he normally does, but he's putting in yeoman efforts trying to score points. But they need some other guys to step up. P.J. Washington was their second leading scorer, I think, in both these first two games. They need Kyrie. What's alarming to me when you look at a guy like Derek Lively, what his plus-minus numbers are pretty awful the first couple games. So when he's been on the floor, it's been a net negative. He's been neutralized and seems very flustered. Kleber, too, hasn't been hitting shots. They may need to play Tim Hardaway some tonight just to get a three-point shooter in the game. Now, we'll see. I haven't heard an update on Porzingis. If he is out, that helps Dallas a lot. Porzingis is sort of the X factor there that tips everything into Boston's favor. But if he can't play, there's so many roles that he fills, and then they've either got to go small or they play Luke Cornett. Big drop off from Porzingis. I think that's the only chance Dallas has to really get back in the series long term. Maybe they can get one here in Big D and stretch this to 5. If Porzingis doesn't play, they might be able to hold serve here at home. We'll see, because a lot of Boston's offense hadn't been all that prolific either. Tatum's a bit flustered. He did turn into a facilitator in Game 2, but they're not hitting on all cylinders either. Dallas's defense is doing okay. But the bottom line is they just got to shoot better, and that sounds pretty simple. But I think you watch the first 2 games, and that's pretty obvious. That just hasn't been working for Dallas, and it better change quick, or the series isn't going to last too much longer.
Boston's up 2-0, and they really hadn't clicked, have they?
Doesn't seem like it, no. But, one thing, you sense something a little bit different about Boston than, say, a couple of years ago against the Warriors in the final, or some of the other times they've been knocked out in recent years, like Miami last year. They're not, they seem to realize that it's not going down, but they are still grinding away and finding some different ways. Drew Holiday was their leading scorer in the last game, and that's a piece they didn't have last year, like Porzingis. So they seem a little bit more poised and different ways of doing it, and they're glad to grind away, and they seem to be getting the best of these matchups here with Dallas, and defensively too. They've got length on the perimeter. They're kind of funneling everything, Luka and Kyrie for sure, into the middle, and Gafford and Lively have just not been able to help out much. Dallas cannot win this series if Kyrie doesn't start scoring. I think that's the bottom thing. So he has got to get going tonight. If he does, they've got a chance. And if Porzingis doesn't play or is very limited, that's Dallas's lane. Short of that, though, they're in trouble.
Bruce, may I go back and ask a Jerry West question? The years that he was coach of the Lakers, was that the end of Jack Kent Cook, or was that the beginning of Dr. Jerry Buss?
It was the end of Cook. And, in fact, his last West coached 3 years, and his last year was right before Cook sold to Buss, and then West moved into the front office. Coming to think of it, there might have been a short period where he did actually work with Chick on the radio. If it was, it might have been a very, very short period. But he did get into the front office real quick. But he he never coached when Jerry Buss came in. He was through Cook, and then Cook sold right as West last year, which would have been that 78-79 season. West wasn't a bad coach, by the way. The Lakers were competitive in those years, and I think they may have been the top seed in the West in West's first year when Portland beat them in the West.
So that
finals.
gives Jack Kent Cook the distinction of hiring Jerry West and Joe Gibbs, because he hired Gibbs in D.C. in football.
Yeah, he did. He did.
That guy could turn water to wine, couldn't he?
Well, I heard some stories about people who worked for Cook. He was not the best guy to work for, but no, he did.
Yeah, he didn't win the nicest award.
No, but
he gave away the Lakers, selling them to Jerry Buss.
He did, and he also owned the Kings, and he had.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the Forum too. So he sold the whole thing, lock, stock, and barrel. But his money was made in cable TV. I mean, eventually he would have made a lot more money in the NBA if he would have lived, past 100. But he made a fortune. Cable TV was Jack Kent Cook's deal. And yes, he was he was the original Kings owner. And Buss actually owned the Kings for about 6-7 years until he sold to Bruce McNall in the 80s.
Wow. Bruce, last thing for you. Do you like anything today in Major League Baseball? And then how can we find more of you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm I mean, I would have told you the Rockies here earlier today, but I'm glad we didn't talk earlier because they're losing 17-8.
Just tell us you had the over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could. I actually like Colorado plus the 1.5, so that didn't work. I'd watch Washington here a little bit. They're playing pretty well. I mean, everybody's in the NL wildcard race. Jake Irvin's pitched pretty well. Olson's not pitching well for Detroit the other way, so maybe Washington good. You know, they've played okay on the road. Very surprising thus far. Also, maybe the Orioles. I think Atlanta's got a lot of problems right now. I mean, they just look listless. The offense has really struggled since Acuna went out. I mean, they're like in 15-20 their last 35 games. They got swept in Washington over the weekend. They go up the Beltway and up 95 into Baltimore. They get shut out last night. You got 2 rookies going on the mound tonight, but Baltimore is hot and Atlanta is not, and that is not a big price on the Orioles. So I might look there, and I might look at the Yankees again tonight. They are really taking charge of this series against Kansas City. And Kansas City is going a bullpen game here tonight, it looks like. Otite has not pitched too badly in a few starts for the Yankees. Listen, I think the Yankees have won, 11 of 13 now. So maybe give them a shot here tonight in Kansas City.
I like it. Bruce, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, thanks. Brian, check me out online at VegasInsider.com. Picks there. NBA, a lot of baseball. I'll have some more NHL for you tomorrow night at CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. And I got a new one. It's called winnersandwhiners.com. I'm by an outfit in Malta, but winnersandwhiners.com. My picks up there as well.
I like it, Bruce. As always, thanks so much for joining us.
Be safe.
We'll talk to you again next week.
Okay, thank you, boys.
Thank you, Bruce.
Bruce
on a world trip, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that. Good for him.
I'm not sure from what port of call we just talked to him from.
Well, hey, that's all right. I love always trying to find out where Bruce is joining us from.
Seeing the grandchildren in Europe and traveling.
Yeah. And he's in the middle of nowhere. And
I'm
has
sure
the
some
best...
soccer somewhere.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, always, it's always funny because he'll be in the middle of nowhere, some different country far, far away, but sounds like he's at his house, phone call, very strong.
He said he was taking his college football preparation with him.
Smart. I mean, why not?
Travel the world and watch soccer and see grandkids.
Why not? I mean, I'm sure plenty of downtime on flights and waiting for flights and different things to get a lot of reading done. So good for him. But definitely glad we could talk with Bruce a little earlier this week on a Wednesday rather than a Friday. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, Game 3 tonight in the NBA Finals in Dallas. Boston with a 2-0 lead. We'll talk about that more on the other side. You're listening to Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall pool bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever. Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. There's a casualty insurance company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hi, Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Hulu is coming in hot this month with new shows, new movies, and all new seasons of your faves. This FX's Clip, the story of one NBA team's racial reckoning starring Lawrence Fishburne. Stream a new season of Shorts, the underdog hockey team that might just knock your teeth out. And catch the high-speed drama Ferrari starring Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz. Get your streaming into high gear this month with so much new stuff to watch on Hulu.
Come celebrate Father's Day this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Unlock your ultimate wedge play with Vokey SM10 wedges, made for lower flight, improved feel, and maximum spin. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. Now $50 off. Shop with us for Father's Day in store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack, Sportsworthy, and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian Brett with you. A big game tonight in Dallas as the Mavericks take on the Boston Celtics. Down 2-0, looking for a victory tonight at home and at least make it a little closer at 2-1. Brett, what do you expect to see tonight? What do you want to see tonight from these two teams?
I want to see a series extended.
Yeah.
And I want to see Kyrie Irving early and often come out and really get into it, get it rolling. I think Dallas needs an easy one. Yeah. Might not be an easy one out there for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough ask, I think. But, you know, if they can get it, that's definitely what I think they need. I think that would boost their confidence, you know, let them say, hey, we belong here and, you know, we can battle against Boston. But with how Boston's been playing, it might be a tough ask. Now, with Porzingis out, I'm curious how Boston plays if he doesn't play tonight, which I would bet against him playing.
Well, they played a lot of series this year in the postseason without him.
Yeah.
So it's not like this just was thrust on
them.
Right,
but what I'm saying is they seem to have answers for Dallas's big man who have pretty much done whatever they want, and maybe Dallas can find a way to exploit Boston's defense now in the interior with Porzingis out.
Well, he sure helped on the lobs and the inside, kind of the Gafford Lively stuff.
Yeah, so maybe that opens up a little bit. That would certainly help. Dallas, but I don't know. I mean, it's going to be tough. I think even at home for Dallas to get a win, but much less an easy win.
I want to ask Rob Fisher. Today's lineup is really flowing perfectly to get everybody to join in on Bruce with the Laker connection. John going on the U.S. Open. Rob. With all the various stuff I've talked so much, among the many things I respect so much about him, is he's covered closely so many different sports. And we had the news of Greg Olson, the TV commentator, talking about that it's easier to be a football analyst than a basketball analyst.
Yeah.
I want to get Rob's opinion on that. Which one do you think would be easier to do? I've never done either. I've never been an analyst.
Right.
I talk about what's happening, but I'm not in the X and O and on the telestrator.
Yeah, I have no idea which would be easier. I think you would
I don't either.
Maybe lean football because there's a little more downtime between plays. Not a ton, but there's a little bit there where you can kind of.
The analyst is a little more prominent.
Sure, yes. Whereas basketball, I mean, you only have a couple seconds to really get in there before you have action the other way.
The big time TV analysts, especially college, Vitale, Billis, others, even pro, what Doris Burke's doing.
Certainly.
The analyst really gets their time to shine.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's a fascinating question. I have no idea.
I don't either.
I don't
have an opinion.
Yeah. I mean, in my head, I'm kind of battling both sides.
Preparation wise, the sheer number,
Sure.
you got more football
Of course, yeah.
names and things to kind of have to get down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I can tell you, at that network level, they're sending you so much from stats and information that if you have a brain, you can just walk by that book they send you and get a lot of it down.
Yeah.
Down the pecking order, we got to, we got to kill whatever we plan to eat.
Of course. Yeah. No, it's a good question. And I know Rob with his experience and everything under the sun, hopefully maybe he has a.
But there's been some real backlash to Greg Olson about this.
No, definitely.
And I think that's just human nature, Brian. Whatever you do, you want to matter.
Yes, and all
you want to think it's big and prominent and important and harder to do maybe some other stuff. Now, what really separates the greats is they make the hard look easy.
That's right. That's right. So I mean, it's a really good question. And I really don't know. And of course, everyone has an opinion nowadays. So everyone wants to throw theirs out there. Everybody wants to be different. And so I'm not surprised that there's a lot of backlash.
I don't know the forum he got walked into that.
I don't either. I have no idea. I just kind of saw that the quote and that he had said it, but I don't know.
It's a debate I had never really thought about.
No, me neither.
Now, I did weigh in one time that I thought coaching football is harder than coaching basketball. Because it's so many more players and moving parts.
A lot going on.
Now, I had a basketball person tell me, hold on, the football guy, because that big area they're in outside, even the Dome Stadium, it's vast, the spotlight's not as much on them on that 20 seconds drop a maker stop.
Sure, that's true. I think there's great arguments on both sides. I don't know. I think all of them are tough, and but yeah, we'll definitely have to ask Rob that later in the show when we talk with him. But we need to get to a break, wrap up our first hour. When we come back, we're talking U.S. Open with John Gowen.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no make home Town Village. Don't miss a second of NWSL action. Every matchup, from kickoff to equalizers, every PK, every save. The best players in the world play here. Find where to watch at nwslsoccer.com/watch. NWSL. We play here.
Hi, folks. I'm Dirk for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. It's our 35th anniversary of Sunrise, and we're celebrating with savings that are bigger than ever. Over 600 new cars and trucks to choose from with huge savings. It's a used car buyer's dream. Check it out at sunrisememphis.com. Hundreds of used cars and trucks with a lot specializing in cars and trucks under 20,000. Bad credit? It's okay. You're approved at Sunrise. Remember, we specialize in secondary financing. New cars and trucks aren't free, but at least they're affordable at the 35th anniversary sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Coming from Pike Blue Chase and Collierville.
The secret to getting endless hot water at home. Go tankless with Navien. Navien tankless water heaters provide endless hot water for spa-like comfort. How? They heat water on demand, right when you need it, instead of wasting energy by storing it in a tank, which means you get instant hot water that never, ever runs out. Right now, save hundreds on Navien tankless water heaters with local rebates. It's easy. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com. That's tanklessmadesimple.com.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It was running a little bit heavy a few minutes ago on 240 northbound at South Parkway. Traffic's going to be a little bit more unusual in the Midtown area since that 55 bridge has been shut down for, I've got 10 more days left as it starts to pick up now on 40 eastbound over here at Danny Thomas as that traffic continues to build 40 east across that Hernando de Soto Bridge. It's heavy over here on 240 east at Poplar. Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis specializes in bridal ring purchases since 1984. Go by and see them shop local and safe at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now from Timber Trust Golf to talk some golf and make our picks, John Gowen joins us now. John, thanks so much for joining us. How are things this week down at Timber Trust?
Good. It's been a busy week to this point. Obviously had a really successful Highland 100 event on Monday, so got to see Coach Silverfield and kind of catch up with everything going on with Tiger football and what the fall is looking like. So obviously a lot of excitement and everything around the program as we head into the football season. So, other than that, just, things are warming up, and it's been nice to have a couple of cooler days, but obviously kind of really getting into a pretty good growth stretch here, and just doing some work on the golf course, and had a unfortunate little deal with a 6-inch water line that we had to get fixed, but we were able to get that taken care of yesterday. It was actually a pretty interesting deal from the standpoint of having to go across the creek there that runs behind number 10 green, right off of our pump house. But we were able to kind of get it fixed, and as far as I can tell, as of right now, no major damage. We did get a little dry on some greens, but it looks like they bounced back pretty good as we've gotten them back on a pretty good water cycle. So golf course is in good shape. I mean, we continue to kind of get mowed out. I know I ran into Bryant and his brother last week, and so
I was also there earlier today, John.
Well, there you go.
Great shot on one. Driver off one was great. Completely downhill from there, got to say.
Well, I mean, that's a lot different than a lot of folks.
Yeah.
I mean, most
Got
of
off
the
to a
folks will
good
hit it out
start.
on the road. Most of the folks will hit it out on the road, get off to a rocky start, and then, kind of rally from there. So, but yeah, no, sorry, I missed you this morning. I was running around trying to water the world as we were able to get that water line back up. And yeah, no, well, everybody's trying to get in while it's still a little on the cooler side, but yeah, no, just no real complaints from our perspective. And like I said, I mean, golf course is I feel like in pretty good shape, and just in our normal little weekly practices at this point.
Good deal, John. This week, I know a busy week for you, not to mention the scramble tomorrow, but this weekend, tell everybody about how they can join in on the fun, the phone number and the website down at Timber Truss.
Yeah, so obviously this weekend we've got our Timber Truss Open. We're already sold out for that event, so we'll look forward to seeing everybody.
List?
Well, yeah, we've got a couple of teams that's still on the waiting list, so at this point we're just looking forward to, obviously it's going to be on the warm side, but the event tied in with the U.S. Open, everything should be a lot of fun. For those who are looking to still get tee times, I think we still have some morning times available before the event actually goes off. We kind of reverse shotgun that at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you can call us 662-895-3530, or you can visit us at timbertrustgolf.com and book the tee times and stuff for this weekend. Friday's looking good. Sunday's looking good. Obviously, it'll be on the warm side, but, you book now to get those earlier morning times to where you can get out there and maybe beat the heat a little bit.
John, you mentioned the fun event with the Highland 100 and the optimism around Tiger football, around Tiger sports. Everybody feels it, and y'all are a great advertiser with Tiger Sports Properties. Wonderful people there, and the first-class broadcast they put on. And you've been around a lot of the summertime build-up, 4-person scrambles, looking forward to next year. But this one really feels different, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. It's going to be very, very interesting to kind of see how it all shakes out. There's definitely a lot of buzz, and it's good. It's exciting to be around things. I mean, you kind of felt this, I think, a few years ago, but now it's. I think this is a pretty big year for them, and I think it's.
The difference between a 7-win and a 10-win year.
Oh man,
you can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember. We've talked about it. I was there. Cincinnati, SMU games where Tiger Stadium is, the Liberty Bowl is absolutely packed. And it's to the rafters, and you got 66,000 people at the Liberty Bowl, and that's an impressive and exciting environment, and it sounds as if, and it kind of feels as if maybe some of that is possible this year. Now, granted, you're going through the renovations to the Liberty Bowl right now. I know that the ultimate goal from a long-term perspective is to reduce the size of how many folks can get in there. But I think maybe the overall experience for the fans, I think, will improve dramatically as you get to the finish line of kind of your, I believe, 3-year kind of project to get the Liberty Bowl renovated.
Yeah, absolutely. John Goen joins us from Timber Truss Golf, and coming off a week, Scotty Scheffler wins again. What can that guy not do? What do you expect from him this week at the U.S. Open?
I mean, I don't know how you expect anything any different at this point. It's probably, I mean, if you really kind of look at it, you know, the 2 years I think about are obviously Tiger in 2000. Granted, the major part is a little bit different, and then you know, Jordan Spieth in 2015. I mean, they both have been on pretty significant runs here, and you know, it doesn't look as if Scotty's going to slow down at any point in time in the near future. You know, just continues to be an extremely consistent, solid player. Don't really see weaknesses within his game, and you know, I don't know. I haven't seen, you know, kind of the odds-on betting favorite for the week as far as, you know, what his odds are to win. But I mean,
overwhelming.
What, 350?
13
to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so yeah, you know, like I said, it should be an interesting week. I mean, you know, everything. So as much credit and as nice and you know, uplifting as I tried to be last week with the USGA, it appears that they have already turned Pinehurst into an absolute rock hard train wreck. And the guys are already griping about firmness of greens and everything else. So it's going to be an interesting test for everybody as it sounds like we kind of get going and get started tomorrow.
John, we had Jim Gallagher on yesterday, and I mentioned the possibility of something as low as 5 under winning it, and he said that would win it by a mile. He'd take it right now and not hit a ball all weekend. If it stays this even, it's not that windy, but just this dry, plus 1 or 2 could win it.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. I mean, if it's already, again, I mean, to your point, I've not looked at the long range forecast. Really, I haven't even looked at a forecast for kind of the Pinehurst area. But I mean, if it's anything similar to what we're experiencing, you got to think there may be in a 1-day delay. I mean, there's no relief in sight. So if there's no relief in sight, you're not going to get any moisture.
You're not even getting a dew. It's really dry out there. It's San Diego.
Yeah. And you know, so, you know, speaking from, of course, the agronomic side, you know, and what we deal with, you know, low humidity, wind dries things out even faster than higher humidity, higher temperatures. You know, so even if they do throw some water on those greens through the course of the evening time, it probably is gone rather quickly with, you know, potential lower humidity and wind. Even just the slightest bit of wind, you know, we see it significantly. You know, yes, it's cooler, but, you know, some northerly breezes, lower humidity, it's amazing how fast greens in particular can dry out and how much more you need to kind of be able to water them.
Yeah. So who do you think, I don't want to say has an advantage this weekend because of how hard everyone is saying it will be this weekend, but when you look at Pinehurst, what golfer can maybe take advantage this weekend at a course like that?
I think you got to look at your high ball hitters and guys that can potentially kind of keep it in play. I mean, you know, a guy who lost last week, but, you know, fade, high ball hitter, fades tend to land a little bit softer, not release as much as draw guys. You know, Colin Morikawa, you got to think, you know, has got a pretty decent chance here. Playing well, again, more of a fade player, a left to right player. So I think that's going to help him out quite a bit. You know, I mean, you look at some guys, you know, potentially like a Patrick Cantlay grinder, who can just kind of get it out there. And we know how slow he can get if he gets into contention in a major. Just look at Augusta, you know, when Koepka lost to John Rahm. So, you know, I think there's a few guys in there. I mean, Rory's a drawer. Yes, he can hit it high, but Rory's a drawer. And I think that those guys are just going to have a little bit of a challenge in extremely firm conditions, just trying to control distances and spin how much the ball is going to release out. I mean, under those types of conditions, you're really having to maybe take 5 or potentially, 10 yards off of shots, trying to allow that release of the golf ball, as opposed to, you're so accustomed out on the tour to be able to land it on a number and know exactly what it's going to do. Well, in a U.S. Open in essence, upside down, mixing bowls for greens where the balls can kind of run out, if you don't hit it in the right spot, you just face substantial challenges, and then you got to have a pretty good short game to be able to do that. So it's going to be extremely interesting to kind of see how the first couple of days go, and then really as the USGA wants to kind of tighten the screws down on golf course conditions and how everything's going to play.
Just for the chance of the Tiger run, for Tiger Woods to really get everybody sitting up and thinking he might be on some type of weekend run, do these conditions help him more than, say, Masters PGA type conditions and scoring? I think he probably would be better in a kind of a really tight, everybody racing side by side instead of somebody running out there and shooting 19 under. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be the easiest course of the majors that he's played this year. Pinehurst is not an extremely difficult walk, very flat golf course. So not going to be overly challenging there. The firmer conditions are going to definitely help him from a distance perspective. Tiger is definitely, as he has dealt with his injuries, become more of a fader of the golf ball. So I think that lines up well for him. And, Tiger, I don't think he's got quite the grind mentality that he did when he was younger, but, potentially for 4 rounds, there's always that possibility. It's just going to really come down to how sharp is he. Clearly he's not playing any competitive golf outside the majors. And so therefore he can't get himself ready for competition. I don't care how much money he might be playing for in a daily game down in Jupiter, Florida. It does not compare to, what he's going to experience as he gets out on the golf course and tees it up against, the guys around him. So, is there a chance for Tiger? Sure there is. Again, I think the pluses are the golf course is going to play extremely fast. It's going to help him from a distance perspective. It's going to shorten up a lot of his iron shots into greens potentially. It's a much easier walk than either Augusta or Valhalla. And at the end of the day, with him being much more of a left to right, shot shape right now, I think, as I touched on earlier, I think that plays a huge advantage on a golf course as it continues to get firm.
John Gorin, our guest, we talk golf and make golf picks with him every Wednesday, and he's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. He's down at Timber Trust down in DeSoto County, where they are having a lot of rounds and a lot of fun being had by everyone. I'm up first this week with picks, and I texted y'all the results through the weekend, and the spoiler alert, first pick, how can you pick against him? John, I don't know what I would tell my grandchildren. I don't have any. I don't know what I'd tell my grandchildren if I passed up Scotty Scheffler in the year he was on this heater, so I'm not going to do that. I won't have to tell them anything. I don't have any. I take Scotty Scheffler.
Smart man.
Great pick, Brett. Great pick.
Thank you, John.
Lee Alwyn?
Lee Alwyn, your pick?
Second pick. With my first pick, I'm taking Patrick Cantley.
Okay.
John?
I'm going to take a guy who's won a U.S. Open and played really, really well in the last one. I'm going to take Beefcake DeChambeau.
Whoa. Does he have that short game there? If he may be driving greens. Wow. In fact, Patrick Cantlay and Bryson DeChambeau
I like the
shot
momentum of him coming out of the PGA. You got to see how fiery he can get. You got to see how well he was striking it. Granted, it's been a month, but I think he could feed off of that going into this, and he's already won a U.S. Open. So I really like Bryson kind of coming out of Valhalla in this one.
Right.
I'm gonna take my guy Ludwig Aubert. Let's take a flyer on him in a major.
I thought he would go and be very popular. Okay, now for shot picks, it must be World Golf 26 and up. Give me from Liv, Cameron Smith. Odwin? Your shot?
Give me Will Zalatoris.
You got it. Will Zalatoris, John?
Yeah, that's a good one. Boy, I tell you what, I will. I'll take Tony Finau.
I like it.
And Bryant, your shot. First place, Bryant. You know, Bryant, I didn't hear John say congratulations.
I didn't either, but that's okay. I wasn't gonna make a fuss about it.
Congratulated me for taking Scotty Scheffler.
Not me for taking him last week.
And you've won 4 tournaments this year. John's won 1 with Scotty Scheffler.
You know, it's just it's how it is. It's okay.
I've won 2. The odd one's won 1.
You know,
your shot, Brian.
I will take a flyer. How about this? A guy that has placed T5 at the U.S. Open in 3 of the last 5 years. I will take Harris English.
I didn't know that.
How
Great
about
research.
that nugget for you?
Harris English, champion at TPC Southwind, John.
Yeah, he was. I've got that flag's hanging at Timber Trust.
You got
matter of fact.
it. Those picks went nothing like I thought they would go this week. I kind of lock in my guys at the.
Well, you can't leave Bryson DeChambeau at 38 in the world as a shock pick, and then all of a sudden he winds up winning for somebody.
Well,
and
but you could have got him at shock, and that would win you quad.
I think somebody would have thought about that one well ahead of me. So
never entered my mind. Did it enter yours, Brian?
No, I was going to Harris English was my guy.
Nobody
and
took
I pick
Brooks
after
Koepka, and Brooks Koepka used to be everybody's go-to.
That's true. Different course, John. I mean, what can I say?
I guess. No, I mean, well, Victor Hovland's inside the top 26. But yeah, and extremely interesting.
John, on Sunday night, will we be mad at the USGA, or will we kind of be resolute of low man wins?
Well, look, if it's low man wins, that's one thing. If the golf course turns into the story because the USGA got it too firm too fast, then obviously it'll be the normal how much the USGA figures out a way to ruin their major in their effort to try to protect par. I really felt like that the USGA had gotten away from that as a mantra. I mean, they want to make the golf course difficult, but it's not so much about trying to protect par anymore. Again, early returns on where we're at on the golf course setup right now is there's a really good chance, barring a substantial amount of watering overnight that they're not going to talk about, that they could lose control of the golf course a little bit.
They sure could. And I think the backlash, if it's a named player, I think people will relax and go, well, low man wins, Sure. Okay, just so it's +5 for the big boys. If it's Jimmy Herman winning +5, everybody's outraged.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, I can't remember who all I've seen, but I mean, just you watch the golf balls getting dropped on greens right now already. And let's face it, guys, early in the week, they're not near where they're going to be later in the week. They give you, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, golf course is going to be marginally in the same condition. And then, of course, with as large as the field sizes are, Thursday and Friday are one thing. Come Saturday, Sunday after cut day, everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, golf course probably speeds up maybe even a little bit more. Greens potentially get even firmer. Maybe they're going to try to keep greens firm, but maybe soften some hole locations. But realistically, that may not make that much of a difference if you can't hold a green. Does this turn into much more of a Scottish, linksy type golf course where you're really having to think about bouncing golf ball into greens and not even being able to have a chance of flying it onto the putting surface itself.
Where you need a croquet mallet and your fireplace tools more than you do a 60-degree wedge.
Well, but that's what they've turned Pinehurst into as well. I mean, let's face it, the massive renovation years ago took Pinehurst from, one of these lush green wall-to-wall parkland-type golf courses into, we've got a lot of waste areas and here's your fairways and everything else, and this is what we want this place to kind of be like. So, I think it almost, without the wind and the ocean and everything else, I mean, it creates, I think, potentially a very links-ish style golf course. It's just a matter of whether that's, truly what it can play like in a major golf event like the U.S. Open.
And John, I was watching the USGA presser earlier today, and they're just all over themselves about how natural everything is, and no more the water usage and the chemical usage and all that. And if they wanted to go back to the original design of Donald Ross back in the day, back to the 30s with the sandy areas and things like that. I don't know what this yin in golf and maybe even around society that we want to go backwards. Look, I want to be good to Mother Earth too. I want to conserve and I want to treat it well and I want to leave it great for the next generation. But I bet you this, I bet in the restroom they don't have a Sears and Roebuck catalog. I bet they have 2-ply in there. Why is all this going back to 1930 we want to do?
Look, I think that in one-offs that there's this type of potential, but unfortunately, and we've talked about this. It's always very interesting. We talk about it more about around the Open Championship than anything, but we have become so spoiled as to how we manicure golf courses here in the U.S. versus you go over and how accepting people can be of Scottish, Irish, even, golf courses in England and places like that. I think it changes a little bit more in some of the other European countries. I think it maybe becomes a little bit more modernized with the conditions. But, we just embrace what golf is over in Scotland and Ireland and England. And you take the elements. I mean, it's the only time ever that people are willing to go, well, I'll go play in the rain. Here it rains, and it's like, I'm not playing in that stuff. You got to be kidding me.
Headed to the ball.
So, so I don't know. It's just very, very interesting. I don't understand why they want to take that philosophy. I mean, it's their setup, it's their environment, but at the same time, it's not what today's golfer is expecting. I mean, how many times
I bet they're running the air conditioner in the clubhouse.
Oh, sure. But I mean, how many times do we have people walk through the door going, "Hey, the greens seem a little slow today." I mean, they're wanting firm, fast, tight fairways. Fast greens. Well, sometimes fast greens aren't the answer, right? I mean, fast greens can be the difference between a 4-hour round and a 5.5-hour round if the greens get too fast. I mean, just look at these times that are going to be played over the span of the next few days, at the U.S. Open. I mean, pace of play is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. And those are the things that I think go a little unnoticed as we get Timber Truss, any other, public golf course or whatever, to play firmer, faster, things along those lines. Those putts become more like 3 putts. Speed takes a little bit longer because, you're having to putt more frequently. You're taking more time over it, and that just extends, pace of play and the time it takes to play around a golf. So, I think that there's a point where we can get speed of greens and speed of golf course and kind of mirror those and get them lined up. But I think, realistically, it's going to be much more on the slower side, but just have good putting quality than, needing to completely I mean, if we're going to roll it back to 1930, or the green speed is going to be about 8, 7.5. I mean, if we're going to truly roll it back, let's roll it back. I mean, let's not be, capping fairways, mowing it at half an inch or under, and things along those lines. I mean, let's truly get it back to where you hit it in the fairway and you're guessing whether you got a flyer or not, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well, John, it should be a fun weekend and hopefully some good golf at the U.S. Open. As always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
All right, guys, thanks so much. Hey, happy early Father's Day to everybody.
And to you, John.
Right back to you.
Thank you.
Take care.
John Goen from Timber Trust Golf joining us every week, talk some golf and make some picks. And he was right. Some interesting picks for this weekend's U.S. Open. We'll see how it all plays out. Brett, I'll be honest, I was kind of looking.
Double money.
And when I saw Cam Smith there, I said, I wonder if Brett's going to take a flyer on Cam Smith this weekend.
He's so good around the greens, but this is not really using his wedges.
Right.
I mean, as Jim Gallagher suggested yesterday, they might be putting with 3 and 4 irons. I hope they all still have some.
I hope you're right. I mean, it's gonna be interesting for sure to see how.
Brian, I'm going to lose my mind on this throwback stuff, whether it's uniforms or whatever age. And when people see what the New York Giants are going to wear this year in at least one game, I think they'll be with me. Why are we not celebrating advances?
Yeah, I mean, I hope they're with you because those jerseys the Giants are gonna pull out this year, they are atrocious. They're all.
And I mentioned I'd love to know in that grand poobah room at that clubhouse that USGA group of guys are sitting around in there. And they have the air conditioning off.
That's right.
They don't.
No.
This is ridiculous that we're trying to go back in time. That's never been history.
No.
To go backwards.
No, the opposite. Let's keep going forward, not backwards.
We can water and we can use chemical in responsible ways.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, 100%. So we'll see what happens this weekend at Pinehurst #2. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, some fun baseball games last night. Already some action in the book earlier today. So when we come back, we're talking golf. Stick with us. You're listening to Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Carterville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish it in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Carterville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers with great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
Summer's heating up, and so are the savings at Choate's. We've got 3 incredible offers to make your season spectacular. First up, our Grill and Chill with Choate's Summer Special. Upgrade your HVAC system and choose between a free Yeti cooler or a Green Egg grill on select systems. Then power through any outage with Choate's generators. Be one of the first 50 customers to buy a generator and score a massive 75-inch TV or an iPad. Also, don't forget about our tankless water heater offer. Purchase a tankless water heater from Choate's and receive a premium toilet free. Don't wait. These offers are too good to last. Turn to the experts with Choate's and call 347-8086 or visit us online today for your free estimate. Now introducing Choate's air conditioning, heating, plumbing, and generators. Choate's, let our family serve your family.
Ignite your
Found.
with our exclusive Facets of Fire Diamond. Created through the first diamond cutting advancement in over a century, the Facets of Fire Diamond features more brilliance than any other. With its burst of fiery color, this diamond is passion personified. Shop Facets of Fire at sissyslogcabin.com or in store and experience the evolution in diamonds only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. In Major League Baseball, got a couple of games going on right now. Two finals already for the day. The early game, first pitch around 12 o'clock or so. Twins all over the Rockies, 17-9, scored 5 runs in the first inning.
That's a field goal tacked on to run it up, wasn't it?
That's right. In the 8th inning, 7 runs in the bottom of the 8th for Minnesota. 17-9. I mean, that
I'm trying to think of an old Vikings kicker. Fred Cox tacks one on.
I like that. Fred Cox.
Against Jim Turner and the Broncos.
24 hits for the Twins.
My whole mindset, my whole brainwave these days, Brian, it's immaculate grid.
I mean, you're good at it, so I guess that's all that matters.
It's my new crossword puzzle that I'm addicted to. If I can't work it fast,
I love it.
Now I don't send you the ones I miss on.
Yeah, well, you sent me 2 the other night that they were really good.
I can get them pretty fast, but I miss too, and
Sure.
Look, we don't always talk about the bogeys. We just talk about the birdies.
That's right.
But it really makes me mad when I can't work it quickly.
Sure. Well, hey, you've sent me, like I said, you sent me a couple the other night. You sent me.
It made me go Fred Cox and Jim Turner on us.
Oh, I like it. That's
Jim
why
Turner also kicked for the Jets.
There you go. Well, you got to keep
So if you get a Bronco Jet, put in Jim
there
Turner.
You go. Well, that's what you're doing here is you got to just throughout the day you just got to throw out old names so that they can be there in case you ever need them for Immaculate Grid.
And my cheat code, it's the Expos or even like the Kansas City A's for anything A's.
Oh, that's good. I like that. That's that's why you're good at the Immaculate Grid.
For even other teams, I try to kind of cross-reference from the past.
Yeah. Well, that's a good.
If you get an Orioles, use a St. Louis Browns.
Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you get those.
And you're down in the 0.0
That's
land.
right. Yeah.
So last night, the Cardinal crowd. What did you think of the ovation to Paul Skeens?
Look, I love Paul Skeens.
I do too. I love St. Louis.
And I love St. Louis. Not a fan of a standing O for the visiting team. Not a fan of it.
Do you think it was because it was his maiden voyage in St. Louis, and from now on it won't be that when he's taken out?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some of that. Like, I don't think this is going to be like an every single time Paul Skeens comes to town and he throws a gym
some of what makes
time.
people mad at St. Louis fans.
Oh, yeah. That's a good
that
point.
we're, how we treat that returning player.
Sure.
And not just the return of Albert Pujols, how we treat the return of of Paul DeYoung.
Sure. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, it's interesting, but
Is it a little much? Is it trying too hard?
Maybe a little bit.
That was some of the responses I saw on the X Machine last night. There's BFIB trying too hard to be the nicest people on earth.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I mean, this guy has just gotten done a great outing against your team. It's 0-0. I mean, I understand it'd be much different if it was.
And you're in last place.
That's right. It'd be much different, Brett, if it was 5-0. Pittsburgh.
Why are we trying to win the most congeniality award? We're at the beauty pageant trying to be the best looking, aren't we?
Literally. And it was almost like both
And Miss
pitchers.
Congeniality's never won the real prize. It's because she's nice.
It was so weird. It was almost like, because both Paul Skeens was great last night, and so was Miles Michaelis. And I think it was like wow, both these pitchers have just been dueling all night.
So they were appreciating excellence by both sides.
Maybe. I think I'm just trying to talk myself into an excuse.
I'm trying to understand it a little bit, too, because now forever in St. Louis, and St. Louis is not alone in this. That's another thing that chafes a lot of people at the X Machine, that Cardinal fans act like we're the only ones that would do something like that. We know they wouldn't in some places, but other places would appreciate it as well. Cardinals aren't alone in that. But forever, Cardinal fans have kind of the ovation to the player that makes the circus play for the last out of the inning.
Sure. Yeah.
That kind of all, just appreciate, hey, good job. Kind of the golf spirit.
Yeah.
Hey, nice shot.
Tip your cap to him. Give him a little, give him a little applause. Sure. I just I can't get down with what happened last night. Not a fan. I'm against it. I'm firm.
I think I am too.
I'm firm. I decided when I saw it last night, maybe trying to talk myself into it now. I'm against it. Bad look.
Do you do it every time he comes through town?
No.
Now, the rest of his career?
No, you can't.
What if he goes on and is the best right-hander of the last 40 years?
No.
Do we all? No.
No. You never do that.
What if he did it to you? What if he did it to you in the NLCS?
Literally. I mean, imagine. And also, like, this isn't the.
Now for sportsmanship.
Sure, I am too, but also, Brett.
But also, I want to win.
I do too. And Brett, this is not the Chicago White Sox or the Seattle Mariners coming into St. Louis. This is somebody in your division that you're giving a standing O to. I don't know. Rubbed me the wrong way. I'm glad it did to you too. I mean, I was.
But I don't know that it did.
Okay.
But I don't know that I love it either.
Sure. You're trying to pick what you.
When
feel
did I
about
get
it.
so wishy-washy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't either.
Oh, it was a great game. I mean, it was a fun game to watch.
And sometimes that to the other team is a little bit of a pat on the head.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah.
Nice going. You got it. It's the guy that tells you at the golf course, you got a nice little game.
A nice little game. Oh, exactly what you want to hear.
Nice little game.
Yeah, but again, kind of like you were saying, I mean, whose head can Cardinal fans be patting right now? I mean, you're 31 and 34. You're not, exactly great right now.
I started to send to Phil Elson, the voice of the Arkansas Razorback baseball team, after they got knocked out. I started to send him this text.
Okay.
Sorry, tough loss. You sounded great.
Sure.
And, keep your chin up. I didn't, and here's why. I don't like getting those on Sunday morning or Monday morning after a heartbreaking loss.
Right.
Because it feels like you got a nice little game.
Yeah.
I didn't want anybody texting me anything after the Hunter Henry heave.
No, not at all. That's a good point.
So I don't know about that last night.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it at all. But
I'm convinced. It shouldn't happen again, should it?
No. I mean, I think at worst it's a one-off and whatever. But no, every time.
You know what you're getting in Philly leaving that field?
Oh man, certainly not a standing ovation. I can tell you that.
You're getting a lot of salutes.
Yeah. No. I mean,
and 9 fingers are down and only
right.
one's up.
Exactly. No, and that's what Greg Gaston, who we'll talk to tomorrow, he quote tweeted the video and said, I don't know much about this, but I know this wouldn't happen in Philly. I mean, it'd be much different in Philly. Some other interesting things last night. Bruce Marshall mentioned it, how well the Yankees are playing. They had a big win last night against the Royals, 10-1. They get the victory on the road. Also, Lee Aldwin's Dodgers, 15-2 against the Rangers last night. Dodgers now 42-26 on the season. Really good game for two really good teams out there, and the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Look at Baltimore's record. I love 44-22.
Yeah.
They're doubled up. Wins over losses, 22 over 500, and they're not in first place.
How about that? That's crazy. It's insane. But they're playing really well right now. 4-0 win last night against the Braves. Curious what they can do tonight, about an hour against the Braves as well. Two questionable pitchers on both sides, two young guys, so that will be an interesting game to keep an eye on.
We're about a month out from the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Which league is tougher, American League or National League right now? Who's stronger?
I would say, I would say the National League.
Really? I think it's American League and not even close.
Really? Wow.
That's great. We come from two different angles.
Yeah, and maybe it's just it's probably just my National League bias, and that's kind of who I watch more.
Well, we play so much interleague now.
Well, that's true. That's true. You're seeing everybody, so it's definitely different. But I don't know. It's definitely an interesting question. Some good games later tonight. I know I'm questioning where I'm going to beam tonight if I don't beam to that basketball game. Some games going on right now before we get to this break. Giants 5-3 lead over the Astros at home, and then the A's, they've got bases loaded in the top of the sixth. They've already scored 3 runs, all 3 of their runs, with no outs in the top of the sixth. They have bases loaded, a 1-run lead over the Padres. So some fun games going on right now.
Wherever you beam to tonight, if you beam to Dallas, there's going to be a lot of show ponies out tonight.
Oh, yeah.
The gaudy boots and belt buckles and watches and jewelry. Dallas will strut its stuff tonight.
Well, Brett, everything's bigger in Texas. They just got to do it big, so I'm not surprised at all. But we'll see.
If you just had the Rolex connection,
that's right.
concession tonight at AAC.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
June. It's wedding season.
It is.
Or as I like to call it, Free Central Barbecue Month.
Who's what now?
Well, not that I don't enjoy weddings. I do, especially the ones that I can tell are going to be a disaster. But what I love about weddings is that so many people choose Central Barbecue to cater the food at the reception.
You root for marriages to fail?
Not exactly root. I just enjoy drama and free barbecue. I like to sit there and enjoy my plate of Central Barbecue with beans and slaw and wait for things to blow up.
At the reception.
Ideally, I mean, I won't be around to see it otherwise. Plus, free Central Barbecue.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Right now at Genesis Diamonds, we're always giving relief to our customers with free financing for diamond earrings and designer engagement ring with that luxury pre-owned Rolex and spread your payments over 5 whole years without paying a dime in interest. Take your personal just $45 off, and that's with zero down. Now for June and only at Genesis Diamonds.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today comes from Major League Baseball, and I'll be honest, in case anybody wants to accuse me of stealing this big number, I 100% am stealing this big number. This was a big number, or at least a stat that was brought up.
It's artistic liberty, Brian.
Well, thank you.
It's
I
not
appreciate
theft.
it. I appreciate it. But this was something that was brought up today on the Dan Lebitard show, and one of my buddies sent it to me, and I had to use it. My big number is, we'll just call it 7. 7 is my big number today. If you strip all of Barry Bonds' stats in his 7 MVP seasons, just take them all away, every single stat, he would still have 440 home runs and 359 stolen bases, which no other player in the history of baseball has. Both that many home runs and that many stolen bases.
That's the Lee Corso double yo.
I mean, that is, when I saw that, I said, yep, I'm using that on the show today. That's unbelievable.
That is a good one. I have two.
Okay.
One is obviously 44 for
Sure.
Jerry West. And, Brian, you'll love this. So when he was here, I don't think Jerry West has paid for a golf ball since 1957.
Good for him.
And when he was here, the Titleist rep, and everywhere he's ever been, a Titleist rep would give him his golf balls with 44 on them.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
That is. And he would dole them out to people
Sure,
if you were
yeah.
at somewhere with him around. He loved to play.
That's
And he could do anything. I mean, he could have played a lot of different sports. My other big number is 2051. That's a year. In the year 2051, the U.S. Open is set for Oakland Hills. 2051. Let's make plans. Y'all ready?
Do it, yeah.
Make your plans. I'll be 88.
Okay.
I could still have grandchildren potentially by then if I make it.
Certainly.
I got to get started now, though.
Well, yeah, you gotta get started. There's
A little late start.
A little bit, but hey.
2051.
No time like the present.
Hard pass. I have no prayer being here in 2051. The U.S. Open is booked through 2042. Back to Pinehurst number 2 in 29, 35, 41, and 47. That sounds like launch codes, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Pinehurst will be the closest to us, still to be determined sites for in the year 43, 45, 46, and 48.
Wow.
One of those could be on a golf course that is not open as we speak.
Holy cow.
The bulldozer hadn't been run over yet.
You're absolutely right. Hard to believe, but you're definitely right. That'd be
U.S. Open, they have bought the green bananas, haven't they?
They sure have.
They are making the plans for the future.
They definitely are. I mean, good for them, I guess. Might as well plan, but woo, we're getting out there.
Next one in Pinehurst in 29. I got a shot for that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
I got a good shot for 29.
Good shot. I mean, I think you got you bet.
I don't know. After how fat sounding felt Monday, I don't know.
But I think you still bet on you'll be here for
Well, I
next
hope
time
so.
that I'm Pinehurst.
What are the odds?
I don't want to put odds on that.
Can you get it at FanDuel?
Maybe on like the dark web somewhere on FanDuel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somewhere deep there, you can maybe find it. I don't know. But
if I have one more summertime cold, I don't want to be here in 29.
That might be
Man.
right. Yes. But hey, you sound better than you did on Monday. I'll give you that.
I had one way to go, Brian.
I guess so. Only up from here.
It was either that or everybody collects on FanDuel that he's not here. I mean, it's just that simple.
Up, I guess so.
It's do or don't.
I guess so. Well,
it's like at the roulette wheel when you bet the red or the black.
I mean, it's that simple, I guess.
That's it.
That's right. Well,
two options.
On that morbid note, let's go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to the end of our hour. And when we come back to start hour number 3, we're talking NBA with Rob Fisher. Stick with us.
It's time to have a good time at Mugshots Grill and Bar in Olive Branch and Collierville. Come by for half-price happy hour 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with domestic drafts and $3 snacks. Then try one of Mugshots 19 specialty burgers, including the Mugshot Burger. Finish in 12 minutes and it's free. Plus, you get a free shirt. Mugshots in Olive Branch, 6400 Goodman Road, and Mugshots in Collierville, 656 West Poplar. So cheers to great food, good drinks, and fun company at Mugshots Grill and Bar, where you're always having a good time.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Celebrate Father's Day this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, featuring the Callaway AI Smoke Woods and Irons. Now receive 2 times trade-in value towards any Callaway AI Smoke clubs. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. Now $50 off. Shop with us this Father's Day in store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and clean quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby. At Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Wrapping up an earlier wreck we had on 240 northbound over here in Midtown. It's going to be right near Lamar. Of course, the heaviest flow is going southbound in this area this time of the afternoon. It's crowded over here now. Here we go. 240 east right at Mount Moriah. Some of this traffic getting off onto 385 Billmore. Parkway headed out to Collierville. Most of it looks like it's continuing in that slow-go traffic on 240 east over here at Poplar. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64, your full-service family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back in to Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Rob Fisher from Grind City Media joins us, talk the NBA and the Grizzlies. Rob, we got to talk a lot about the NBA Finals, Game 3 tonight in Dallas, but some really sad news earlier today with the passing of Jerry West. What did you make of that news this morning?
Remembered his time, so many people remembering his basketball career and remembering his executive career and remembering relationships and conversations that they had with Jerry West. The first thing that came to my mind was, his time with the Memphis Grizzlies, and where to me the Jerry West move to Memphis was maybe the biggest move that's ever been made by this organization, because it gave this whole team credibility. They were miserable in Vancouver, and they came to Memphis and they weren't any better, and just kind of the bottom of the league. And Jerry West came in, and just his name and the logo coming to Memphis was, I think, shocking to everybody, including those in the basketball world and those that knew him. I think it was very shocking when he came to Memphis, and I think it gave a true legitimacy to the Memphis Grizzlies, and that's what I remembered today.
It really did, Rob. Remember all of us kind of walking around muttering to ourselves, Jerry West is running our team.
Right. And I mean, how much do we know about NBA, at the time? And it's like, wow, Jerry West, this is a big deal. And it was a huge deal. And I mean, it was leading all the broadcasts that night nationally about Jerry West going to Memphis. And it was stunning. And then he made an even more stunning move, hiring Hubie Brown as the head coach's team. And look what that did to the organization. So it was, the core four. I saw Brendan Brown, who was very close with Jerry West, put out a Facebook message today and talking about Jerry and Hubie and what they did. And he was like, before the core four and before what we got right now, it was these two guys that really put the Grizzlies on the map and established the foundation of this team. And they certainly did.
It really did feel like with Jerry West, and then when he hired Hubie Brown, it felt like a blast back to 1975 with Hubie with the Hawks and Jerry West with the Lakers. I mean, nobody could see either one of those coming in Memphis, and they both made it work. Was the hire of Hubie Brown his best work here?
No question about it. I mean, it was surprising to everybody that Hubie Brown was going to be hired to coach an NBA team at that point of his life, and what he had been doing basketball-wise. It was shocking. And, Hubie takes the team to their first playoff run, and the team makes the postseason, and 10-man rotations, and coach of the year, and executive of the year, and I mean, it was pretty magical, and that was our first taste of playoff basketball, and I'll never forget that first night when Hubie got that Coach of the Year award. It was one of the most memorable nights in Grizzlies history, and
it really was.
And that was a huge move by Jerry. Probably, absolutely his best.
And then they lose that night, lose Game 3, and then get swept in Game 4 at the Pyramid, and we all kind of show up at the end of the year. Press conference and kind of the last media availability, and he more or less cussed us out for being so giddy and pleased with getting swept.
I'll never forget it. He definitely did, and he said to the media, with teary-eyed, he said, "This is unacceptable," and he said, "We're going to do everything we can this offseason to make this feeling not happen again." And it was like, oh, all right, cool.
We were all kind of pleased,
Yeah, it was, it was cool. You saw the competitor of Jerry West come out in that moment, and I think that was the real first time that we got to see that in Memphis.
And that success he had, that 50-win season, and I think 45, and then with Mike Fratello 47 or so. That kind of stuck him in no man's land in the draft. We kept waiting for the Jerry West wizardry and miracle in the draft, but he was drafting where those picks were so far back. I mean, not even he could make those turn into miracles.
No, he turned them into other things. A lot of them.
That's true. That's true.
And so he was good at doing that and dealing them. Kyle Lowry was a really good player, ended up in his career, arguably a Hall of Famer, when it's all said and done for Kyle Lowry. So that was a good pick. But then when the Grizzlies came back and got Mike Conley the next year, that made it kind of awkward. Akeem Warwick was serviceable, but you're right. There was and I think the biggest thing was there wasn't that splash free agency wise either. The draft, you're that where you're picking in the draft, it comes down to luck more than anything, and they just didn't hit on many of them.
Yeah. Talking to Rob Fisher from Grind City Media. 2 games down, 2-0 for the Boston Celtics. What have you made of the NBA Finals so far?
I think game 1, we found out how big of an impact Kristaps Porzingis can have for the Boston Celtics. I mean, not only what he did offensively, but even more importantly, what he did defensively. Made nothing easy for the Dallas Mavericks, especially around the basket and then the block shots that he got. But he had so many shots that were altered and guys changing and, not being able to knock them down and giving up layups to pass it out because, Porzingis was there. It was incredible, the impact that he had on that game. And then after game 2, I think the other thing you look at with this series is Kyrie Irving's got to be a lot better. He's got to be the second, third best player on the floor. He can't be 5, and that's about where he's at right now, if not 6. He's got to be better. Dallas won't win without him being better. Now, Porzingis, if he's out tonight, how much of an impact does it make? I think it makes a big impact, especially with Dallas. Their biggest thing is they can't get going offensively. So how much does this change? How much are they able to attack the paint a little bit more against Al Horford instead of Porzingis? How much can they rebound better without Porzingis out there? So I think those could be big impacts, but still, even if that's a big impact, but still Kyrie Irving's got to be better than what we've seen in the first 2 games.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And this Kristaps Porzingis injury, have you ever heard of this injury? I didn't even try to pronounce it yesterday when it came out. Have you heard of this before we learned about it yesterday with Kristaps?
No. They say it's very rare.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure what it is. Even trying to read it was impossible.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if he plays tonight, at least based on the very limited things I've read about it. But
if the med school entrance exam didn't knock me out, that terminology did.
Yeah, no kidding. I sometimes I laugh when teams just say, "Oh, it's a calf injury or a lower leg injury,"
or a wrist.
I would have preferred that on this injury report. He's got a calf injury. Okay.
Sometimes we write off wrist injury to a lot of things too, Rob.
A little too fast.
Yeah, a little too quick with that. Rob Fisher with us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, talking all things Grizzlies and the NBA upcoming draft and the loss of the logo, the legend Jerry West. Is it over in the finals tonight? Does Dallas really have a puncher's chance?
Yeah, I think so. Again, if Kyrie's better, they would be a lot better. If Kyrie would be better, then the others would also be better. Now we could get a big Jason Tatum go off game 2, and
he's due.
Boston. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean that's very possible too. I don't mean to discount if Kyrie's better, Dallas wins. I think if Kyrie's better, Dallas has a chance to win. But yeah, so I give him a chance if he's better tonight, and if they can find a little scoring, especially if I'm kind of banking on Porzingis not playing, and I think that will make a big impact. But I'll expect a really close game in Dallas to pull it out, and we talk about the Kyrie and Luka game that these two have in game 3, and then when game 4 comes, I don't know, Stats. I think Boston might just be better. I think their easy run through the playoffs so far may have fooled us to being too easy, too soft, as opposed to maybe they're just that good.
Who would be your MVP so far?
Probably Jaylen Brown.
I think that's it, but I said Drew Holiday if I had to vote.
Yeah, I mean, it's still so early that it's tough, but yeah, I mean, he could too.
But it's not Tatum. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But again, one game could shift that. He's that capable of doing it.
35 would do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, And that could happen tonight. I hope it doesn't happen tonight. I hope Dallas does win tonight because I'd like to see the series keep going.
Me too.
And last as long as possible because 3-0, we know what the inevitable is. That is impossible to come back from. So I hope Dallas can get one tonight, and we feel like we have a series.
And I love that arena, and those fans have really been great fans for almost a 40-some-odd year run for that franchise.
Yeah, it's one of the great arenas to be in the league. The fans it's jam packed every night. They're loud. Their in-game production, entertainment production is top notch as well. It's a fun place to be, and it's a fun place to win. I'll tell you that. When you win in Dallas, you feel like you really earned it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm excited for tonight.
And the Grizzlies won there last year.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you, Luka, for having to miss that game. Wasn't that over a baby?
That's right.
Yes, that's right. And
thank you, baby Doncic.
Later, we played him a week later and wondered why he wasn't still with the baby.
Stay at home, Luka.
That would have been nice.
That kid needs you.
Exactly.
I was trying to look it up because I think I saw somewhere yesterday maybe, and I can't even find the odds now, but that Jason Tatum is still the favorite to win Finals MVP on the betting odds, which shocked me. But I guess that's just Jason Tatum. I mean,
I think it's because it's wide open, because it's only been 2 games. I mean, heck, you can make an argument for Porzingis even at this point.
For sure, yeah.
So it's so wide open that, what we talked about before, just that chance he's going to go off and have a game where he scores 35. I mean, you feel like it's coming, and can Dallas sustain it? But, Tatum's got it in him. He's capable of doing it. So, and if he does that, he may jump the ladder in the MVP talks for sure.
Rob, did you see the photo that's been going around? I think I've seen it at the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup of Matthew Tkachuk and Jason Tatum as children together in elementary school together. In St. Louis.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, in St. Louis when they were on a school bus together.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture. And the thought of those two possibly being in great position right now to win a championship is it's pretty cool. And I know St. Louis is very proud of those guys as well.
And that was, remember the World Series against the Red Sox in 2004 when they broke the curse of the Bambino. And Keith Tkachuk, he caught it locally in St. Louis, got booed at Blues games over pulling for the Red Sox. And somebody asked him why. He said, well, I grew up in Worcester, Mass. I'm a Red Sox fan. I mean, is that allowed? Well, of course it is.
How dare someone who's one of the best fans in baseball question?
You want to ask him about last night, Bryant?
Wait, actually, it was going to be my next question, Brett. Rob, I'm sure you were watching the Cardinals last night, and the standing ovation for the young Paul Skeens after his outing. What did you make of that?
I don't know. I truly believe there are people in St. Louis who take the best fans in baseball thing literally and very proudly. And I think that was a moment where they thought, we should probably stand for this youngster. And
that was trying too hard, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it was stupid.
That's people that tattletale on you at school, isn't it?
Oh, man.
And let me tell you something. I'm a huge Paul Skeens fan. I've watched almost every one of his starts so far and love watching him pitch. I wish they'd pitch him a little differently. I don't understand some of the things that they do as far as calling his game. But I love watching him pitch. And if I was in the ballpark last night, so when he came out, I may have sat in my seat and given like one clap.
Nice job, Paul.
Sure.
Yeah, hey, nice job, kid. But
certainly not going to boo him.
But this was a little over dramatic.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I mean, this is almost up there with the ovation welcoming back Daniel Descalso as a visiting player, isn't it?
Man, it's amazing every time someone comes back, and I wonder, like when Tommy Pham comes back, are we going to give a big ovation for Tommy? I mean, we do, and Cardinals fans do, and That's what makes it an endearing place to play.
All right, Rob, I've got the perfect choice for in the offseason when the Cardinals need to make a managerial change. Y'all please be patient with me and understand where I'm coming from. I don't know why baseball is such the forbidden sport from doing this. Around the rest of the sports world, a college football coach hired in the NFL, it's been done repeatedly and famously. In basketball, we almost had this week, Dan Hurley go from UConn to the Lakers, and we've had it millions of times. Baseball hardly ever does it. It's a couple of times. Dick Hauser did do it after long service in the Yankees organization. Then he was head coach at Florida State, and then Steinbrenner hired him to be manager of the Yankees. And he was pretty good with the Yankees. Eddie Stanky did it for like a week, and then he got homesick and wanted to go back to South Alabama from the Texas Rangers. And I bet there have been other cases. I just don't know of many others. Here's mine. St. Louis native, went to Mizzou, and we need a breath of fresh air in St. Louis. Tony Vitello.
Oh, my gosh. He's been teasing this for like 2 days now, Rob. This is incredible.
I heard
what do you
the
think?
tease earlier in the show, and I thought 2 names were on my list, and you did not hit either one of them.
Vitello was nowhere near my list.
I didn't see that one coming.
Think how bold that would be. And why won't baseball do it more often? The Cardinals have tried it with the ragamuffin organizational pepper pot guy. We've had Shilton Ollie do that. We tried it with, the former somewhat star player who's going to get his managerial chops and learn on the job. We tried that with Mike Matheny. Why not be really bold? This franchise needs bold.
I understand your argument. My argument against it would be just being around professional baseball players, no chance. He'd have no chance. He'd have no chance in the locker room. He'd have no chance getting anybody's attention.
How much chance has Ollie or Schilt had? And the next guy that will be just like him?
We're
going to hire Ben Johnson?
Yeah, I don't know. Boy, the names I thought you were going to throw out Terry Francona, which seems to be interesting.
It is, but I think his health is hindering too much.
The other one that I thought you were going to throw out, just because of the buildup I heard at the beginning of the show, I thought you might come back with La Russa to come back, and I was going to tell you were crazy.
No,
that'd be something.
I don't think Don Tony's doing well either. I think he's really got the scuffles.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Is it nuts?
It'd be interesting to see if it would work, just because I just know how baseball players act, man, and it's who are you? I think would be the attitude of the locker room.
Well, couldn't he go? I'll tell you who I am. I'm your manager. And get out there on those backfields and do something, because you came in last year and you're not going to be much better than that this year. Things have changed.
Yeah.
He's certainly one that could do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. I like the idea of it. I think it would be fascinating. I think it'd be fascinating to see. I don't know if I want my Cardinals to do it, but I think it'd be fascinating to see a team do it.
The local St. Louis media would eat it up with the, where'd you go to high school in St. Louis? That's the famous question. And his dad, legendary high school baseball coach.
This is Cardinals, man. This is the Cardinals. This ain't no high school.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Take your high school hijinks somewhere else.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
All right, next one we had on the list for you. Greg Olson made a lot of noise with he said being an analyst in football is harder than in basketball. Rob, you're perfect for this. You've covered and done everything. It's really astonishing. You've gone in the deep water with every sport. Which one's harder, football or basketball, to comment on?
I would be great to ask because I've done both. I did the Memphis Tigers football on television a couple of years as an analyst for the Tigers, and then I've done some basketball when Brevin had COVID. Had to fill in for him. I would say for me, basketball was easier just because you have such a quick amount of time to talk. Now, you know, I mean, because you got to give it back to the play-by-play guy. So, you know, learning that. I think, obviously, for a football player, football is easier. For a basketball player, basketball is easy. I think the hardest thing for either a basketball player or a football player to go into that field, they've got to have the broadcasting down. You've got to have a personality. You've got to be able to talk. And that sounds
have
stupid,
some
but you've got to be able to talk in a broadcast sort of way. And I think that's not easy for a lot of people. You know, we go to school for that. And so I think that's the biggest hurdle. But once you step in, a football player, I mean, football was harder for me because football's so complex. And not playing the game, I mean, I played for 2 weeks in high school. But not playing the game, it's so complex that you've really got to try and, you know, figure out what the hell's going on the field. Whereas if you played the game, you see it happening. I mean, these analysts are great because they see it happening and they analyze. And it's the same with basketball. You played the game. If you got the broadcaster part down, it can come easy.
Yeah.
Just because you're talking about the game that you see different than people who didn't play the game. So I think I think the hardest part for both is to get the broadcaster part down first, because I think talking about the game can be easy for either one of them.
But we know what's really the hardest is doing those Sakusa quarterback ratings.
Yeah. Now that takes some stuff. That takes brilliant minds. We might have to bring that back. Maybe we'll bring that back this year at SEC Media Day.
Maybe we will. That's good stuff, Rob. That was that was a great answer and good advice to people.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of guys I know that played basketball and know the game that can't talk it. But there are a lot of guys who can, and those that can, well, they're generally doing it for a living. And
Rob, it's why everybody expects Tom Brady. I think he will be, and I hope he is. I hope he is great. But we've had people that have been can't miss before go from the playing field as superstars, and they just didn't have it. Joe Namath, Joe Montana, Emmitt Smith. It didn't last long for Ray Lewis. They couldn't do it.
Right. No doubt. I mean, you look at the show that's getting all the attention right now, the Inside the NBA show. I mean, Charles Barkley, for how goofy they can be on that show and the things that he can say on that show, there's still a broadcaster part of him.
Right.
I mean, he delivers it in the timely fashion, and he delivers it while speaking to others. And, I mean, it's a skill that you have to have, and those guys all have it. So, you know, the best have it. The ones that are doing it for a living, they have it, and there are a lot that, you know, it's very difficult. So, Greg Olson, which one's easier? I think it's about the same.
That's a good answer. Rob, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Well, it's always a pleasure. We'll do it next week.
Thanks, Rob. Rob Fisher from the Grizzlies, from Grind City Media, joining us to talk the NBA. And let me tell you something, Brett. Oh, man, what a out of left field, the idea for next manager for the Cardinals. Bold.
Nuts?
It's bold.
Crazy?
It's bold. I mean, it's when I heard you say, I think
franchise that is flatlined. It's really, I mean, it's almost deader than Elvis right now.
Oh yeah. Well, depending on who you ask, Brett, about on the Elvis part, I should say.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But I think I put it together because you said St. Louis native, and then I remember you telling us yesterday that it'd be better if you held off for a week. And it all clicked immediately. I said, "Holy cow!"
Dog pile in Omaha. Everybody starts latching on to that.
Certainly, 100%. It's much easier to pitch that.
I think this guy is in a league of his own. I really do.
He's extremely impressive. I wouldn't mind, giving it a kick. Why not? Maybe.
Well, I'm gonna get crushed over this.
You are, but I don't think it's a terrible idea. I mean, it's interesting.
I've had worse, no doubt.
You've certainly had worse. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Right now at Genesis Diamonds, we're always giving relief to our customers with free financing for this time of year and design your engagement ring or that luxury pre-owned Rolex and spread your payments over 5 whole years without paying a dime in interest. Today's anniversary is just because $35 off, and that's with zero down. Now through June and only at Genesis Diamonds.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901-381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still some volume over here trying to get out of the Midtown area on 240 southbound. Here passing Lamar all the way down to Norris. Traffic still not bad right now as far as serious accidents. Out here just remains heavy on 240 east, working your way past Poplar up to Walnut Grove. It looks like 240 west also started to slow down a few minutes ago there between Walnut Grove and Poplar. Hey, 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, interesting conversations with Rob Fisher and Brett. I didn't know if he was going to hold off or if he was going to throw out his idea. I'll be honest. In no world would I had ever guessed Tony Vitello would have been your idea. It clicked immediately when you started talking about it. We've got some texts to the text line. Here's one. Tony Vitello is orange through and through, but would love to see him coach my Cardinals after a dog pile, though. This comes from a
See,
Tennessee fan.
And Brian, I started to wait.
Okay.
I started to wait because then I knew it'd be a little more fashionable and possibly acceptable.
But Brett, I mean, now
a friend of mine says the fever's really set in with you.
Well, you know,
I mean, I've gotten crushed.
Maybe
from
need
Cardinal
to maybe
friends.
need to check into it. Look, here's what I'm saying. I like that you went out and did it today because now you can get ahead of it. I mean, if Tennessee goes out and wins in Omaha and Tennessee becomes the biggest thing, Tony Vitello becomes the biggest thing, and if anybody throws that idea out there and kicks that ball and starts rolling it after Omaha, Brett, you can say you did it a week earlier. I mean, get with the times.
But the flip side of that is if he loses 2 out there and he's forgotten.
Well, that's fair.
And we can't name the Virginia coach.
Well, that's fair.
Can we? I can't.
I can't.
The North Carolina coach.
No, I mean, I think Vitello might be one of the few that I can name. College baseball, different game, but
all right. And Brian, I promise you, trust me that I did do this.
Okay.
Even though I have been very critical of one of these two, I defended the idea of the quick elevation of the former high school football coach to coaching in the SEC in Gus Malzahn and Hugh Freeze, and I defended it under this argument, kind of this umbrella of a good coach is a good coach is a good coach.
Sure.
At any level. I think there are I defended it when we used to have the discussion of should Tennessee elevate Pat Summitt to head coach of the men's team. I defended yes.
Sure.
She could, she can, and we're going to have a female NBA head coach sooner rather than later. I really would have thought we already would have.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I think a couple of the ones that were maybe being made to do that, a couple of things have happened, and they've shied away from. I think there are coaches out there coaching junior high basketball that, if given the opportunity, they could coach at a big time level.
Sure. For sure. I mean, it's one of those things. If you know the game, if you're a good coach, I mean, it all can come together.
Now, do they know the media game and the shaking and baking and elbowing and mixing and mingling with all the big wigs around town?
Different story.
But you got to learn it somewhere.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, how much more is?
And I'm not ready to jump in front of a freight train over Tony Vitello to the Cardinals, but the Cardinals have tried the other moves. So what would be the Cardinal move? Ollie Marmol's out next in the off season. Skipper in 2025 will either be organizational guy, the young man in a hurry rising up through the ranks. It's hit a million fungos, or the retread.
Sure.
Buck Showalter. And I love Buck Showalter.
Buck.
I love him more on TV than I do actually managing.
Of course.
And what's that going to get you? It needs a shake-up.
I'm with you on that. Certainly, especially the trend that's kind of been there the last couple of hires of organizational guy, almost, call it what it is, been pretty much a yes man.
But Rob was right. That 29-year-old veteran that's probably in his third organization, they're all but going to sniff at him.
Oh, sure.
And I would like to ask a lot of them, especially in St. Louis, what have you wanted to sniff at anyone?
Last couple of years, not much. Not much at all.
Get out the newspaper and tell me where you are in the standings.
Yeah.
So get you rearing out there and start taking some grounders.
Yeah, you definitely don't need to worry about the who's who game when you're on the St. Louis Cardinals right now. Hate to say it.
And we do it in other sports. We don't think twice about it in NFL and NBA.
No, not at all. I mean, it happens, and we say, okay, cool. Good deal. We'll see what happens.
Today was announced the ACC-SEC Challenge, and the opponents, Arkansas will go to Miami, Cal will go to Mizzou. Cal Bears. That's kind of the Conzo Martin Bowl, isn't it? Cal at Mizzou.
And you got to be careful going Arkansas and then immediately going Cal right after. You don't know if you're talking about the school or the head coach. I mean,
FSU at LSU, Georgia Tech at Oklahoma, Kentucky at Clemson, Notre Dame at Georgia, Ole Miss at Louisville. Chris Beard, widely mentioned to be the Louisville coach this year. He didn't. South Carolina at Boston College, Syracuse at Tennessee. That's a lot of orange, isn't it?
Sure is.
Wake at A&M, Alabama at North Carolina. There's your primo game. Man. Auburn at Duke. There's another one. Pitt at Mississippi State, Texas at NC State, Vandy at Virginia Tech, and Virginia Cavaliers at Florida.
Yeah, I love this schedule. I love these games.
I love the challenges.
It's awesome, especially when you can throw Alabama and North Carolina in front of me.
I want a late season challenge. I want more league games in November and December. Yeah. And a late season challenge. None of these coaches want it. No coach wants to play anybody ever, except for Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway does. I applaud him.
Absolutely,
he should be praised constantly. He does not duck anybody.
Not at all. Not at all. And he's one of those. If you tell him, hey, you're going to play a non-conference game in February, he'd say, okay, cool, works for me. Let's do it.
He would say, cool, works for me. Make sure it's Duke.
Yes. Let's not play, let's play a big boy. But no, I love this. I mean, we talked yesterday about Alabama right now being having the best odds to win the national championship next year, going up against a good North Carolina team that's going to bring back R.J. Davis from last year. They'll bring back some other guys from that team. So, that one's going to be big time. We know kind of the hype that's going to be around Duke. Maybe a little less hype as, they kind of got hit by the transfer portal and by the draft. But obviously Duke is that big name. They're going to have
with that big player.
With that
the
next
big Larry
player.
Bird.
Sure. The next, great. So there's going to be a lot of talk about them, and we know what Bruce Pearl is going to have with his team and how he's going to coach his guys. So those two are definitely the marquee games. But when you go further down into this, I do think some really, really fun games and some games I'm really looking forward to. Notre Dame and Georgia, I think, is one super under the radar game. Two newer coaches kind of trying to build their teams up. I'm really looking forward to that. And then Ole Miss and Louisville. I was talking about Pat Kelsey earlier. I'm really excited to see what he can do at Louisville, going up against what we saw with Chris Beard in year one, looking like it's going to get better in year two. I'm excited for this.
Chris Beard's another one. Let's play.
Sure. Yeah.
Kind of anytime, anywhere. Fine. He won't say brutal schedule. Mm-hmm. Last year was the end of the contract, and there were some that were a little scared that Ole Miss and Memphis wouldn't renew.
Right.
And Chris Beard was asked about it. He goes, well, I didn't even know it was up. We can renew that.
Yeah. I mean, it was very quick.
We want to.
Yeah. One even thought about it. Yeah, absolutely. We want to play.
And basketball coaches have, they have almost 100% scheduling authority.
Mm-hmm, right.
Football really doesn't.
No. Very different. But
you can make a suggestion here or there.
Sure. And football, it feels like we're, kind of like you're talking about with the U.S. Opens. I mean, it feels like we're, scheduling out for the
2051.
I mean,
the U.S. Open and Notre Dame play Texas and Warsaw, Poland.
Yeah, that's two things that
and
you
it
can
never
be
happens.
Sure of. No, it never. But it's always you always get that notification of a tweet that says, "Oh, this team and this team are gonna set up a home and home starting in 2035." Man.
Speaking of, so Arkansas is going to play Miami in the SEC ACC Challenge. Bryant, the first far-flung, way exotic, I'm going to say 85 or 86, Coach Broyles had a deal set for Arkansas and Miami to play at Wembley Stadium.
Whoa. Really?
Don't check your history books. It never happened.
Oh, man.
Now, Arkansas and Miami played in those years.
Sure, just not at Wembley.
But he never could get it past the coaches and the travel and all that.
Well, that's the thought that counts, I guess. It's a great idea.
But it's a little bit like my Vitello idea. There's a lot of thoughts, but we got to make some practical plans.
Got to do something. It would have been fun, I guess. No, but
I was trying to figure out how I get to Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, that's
to see that game.
Yeah, you had to. But
instead, I went to Little Rock in the fall of '86.
Wembley, Little Rock. I mean, similar.
Yeah, it was 38-3 at halftime.
Oh wow.
To you.
Shams Charania, a Shams bomb. I don't know if that works. Celtics say Kristaps Porzingis
Kinda
is
taken, but we'll work with it.
officially. Yeah, it needs to be workshopped. I know. Celtics say Kristaps Porzingis is out for Game 3 of the NBA Finals versus the Mavericks. So no Kristaps tonight.
As to give the Mavericks a little more hope.
Sure.
We'll get to what we're watching for tonight, but quick start, master the obvious, imperative tonight for Dallas.
Oh, definitely. Big
Don't need to be playing uphill.
No. You, especially at home. I mean, if you want anything, get out there early, quick start.
Fuel that crowd.
And you get them behind you because they're going to want something to cheer about. I mean, they want to be in this more than anybody. And so if they can feel like, hey, we can push them over, then they'll definitely be there. So, I think give them something to cheer for early, hot start, get those guys involved. Maybe with Kristaps out, you can be more effective with the lobs, interior game, and maybe that can give them a boost they need, in a must-win game.
You got to see what's there and if it's working, and then if it's not, Luka, you got to carry.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. Another thing that I'm just now seeing on social media, going through it, I guess, and I had no idea about this. It is a Ellie De La Cruz bobblehead night in Cincinnati for the Reds. And when I tell you...
The division of shortstops.
That's right. Trademark that, Brett. That's good. The line to get in to Great American Ballpark tonight for the game, for these bobbleheads, is unbelievable. I mean, there are tons of people already in line. I don't know. I'm guessing that's around a 6 o'clock start. But shocking how many people are out there tonight. 6-10 against the Guardians. Going to be a great crowd for the Reds. Maybe the Reds fans can cheer them on to a victory.
That's the
tonight.
Battle of Ohio.
That's right. So that would be fun. Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Maybe that might be where I beam tonight.
You think they hate each other?
No.
Why would they?
Why?
I
mean, no reason.
The Reds'
to.
history versus Cleveland's, and they never really played that much.
Play, but I'm sure they can find some way to.
We'll manufacture it.
Sure, of course. You got to. Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Ignite your desire at Sissy's Log Cabin with our exclusive Facets of Fire Diamond. Created through the first diamond cutting advancement in over a century, the Facets of Fire Diamond features more brilliance than any other. With its burst of fiery color, this diamond is passion personified. Shop Facets of Fire at sissyslogcabin.com or in store and experience the evolution in diamonds only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to
Next, grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, there's a lot of things that I learned today. It was actually a very busy sports day with just kind of little things coming out everywhere. But I think what I learned today has got to be that NBC and TNT could join Fox as a broadcast partner for Big East basketball games. The deal is set to start in the 2025-26 season. So it looks like not this year, but the following year, NBC, with most of those games probably going to be on Peacock, and also TNT, who we still don't really know what TNT will have. It sounds like there is still an opportunity where they could have a small piece of NBA, but they're definitely looking for more sports, it seems like. I believe they also got they picked up one of the big tennis tournaments the other day. I saw that, the French Open, I believe. So they're certainly looking to add sports, and it looks like Big East basketball, which would be kind of different, but Big East basketball could be coming to TNT.
And Brian, to think just a week ago, we had so many in the college sports business writing the big think pieces of Hurley to the NBA. Right. This is the end of college sports. College sports, it's very different. It's different than anybody's ever known it. Nobody's ever seen it like it is right now, but it's in really good shape.
Absolutely.
College football and college basketball aren't going anywhere, and baseball and softball and other sports are growing. What I learned, I didn't think I'd ever see vintage 2000 Tiger again in my life. If Scotty Scheffler finishes off at the U.S. Open, then we're in the midst of a 2000 run. That was the equivalent of a baseball perfect game. Okay, right now, maybe not a perfect game for him, but I think if he wins the U.S. Open, we could sure call it a no-hitter.
Man, I definitely think you can call it a no-hitter. It's pretty darn impressive what he's doing. What I could have done without some delays going on when it comes to flights. We're flight checking here, Brett, in the NHL for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Panthers have been delayed by storms, and now they're set to arrive in Edmonton only 22 hours ahead of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, it's about a 22-hour flight, isn't it?
It's a long flight, but they were supposed to get out there, I guess, earlier today, but heavy storms in the Fort Lauderdale area. A 6-hour charter flight. Did not take off until 3:30.
That's like going to Europe.
It sure is. Didn't take off until 4:25 their time in Fort Lauderdale, and was scheduled to arrive after 8 p.m. local in Edmonton, roughly 22 hours before the series is set to resume at Rogers Place on Thursday. So they're in the air right now. Everybody look up and wave at the Florida Panthers as they cross by.
Wow. Can you imagine? They win 2 and get the sweet 4-0.
Oh, man.
What the flight home would be like.
That'll be a lot of fun.
That might be
nice.
the most expensive bar in Happy Flight history.
Sure could
I
be.
could have done without. The Cardinal Bats were real silent versus Paul Skeens
sure
last
were.
night. The Pirates have a bona fide star. If he can't sell tickets where the Allegheny and the Monongahela make the Ohio run, then the Pirates really are done.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like we've kind of talked about that. There have been some really good players come through Pittsburgh, but Paul Skeens feels
This has
like,
got to be your star.
It's got to be, and they've definitely got to buy into it. And it seems like certainly very early, they're buying in. But we'll have to see where you beam tonight.
American Airlines Center in downtown Big D may not be L.A., Boston, or New York City, but Dallas can put on the glitz for a big event someday, some sweet day. We're going to go to our first NBA Finals game in downtown Memphis.
Oh, man. That's
one of these days. And I'm going to say before I go to that U.S. Open in 2051.
Oh, okay. So maybe odds on top of odds of little before, yes or no bet for the before or after. Let's see. Beam me. Wow, I wish I could beam to the end of this Athletics and Padres game. Bottom of the ninth, 4-4 Mason Miller, who's been really good this year on the mound for the A's right now. Let's see. Beam me. We'll go tonight to that game I was talking about. Guardians and Reds tonight. Guardians 43-22. Reds 32-35. Looks like going to be a really good crowd there, whether it's just to go see the Reds play or if it's for the Ellie De La Cruz bobbleheads.
Go for whatever reason you want to go.
Yeah, there are going to be a lot of people there. Bibby
the
versus
Panthers
Lodolo.
need our beaming machine to get to Edmonton.
Well, I'm sure they were probably sitting around the airport hoping and wishing that they had the beam machine.
We talked about earlier, Kyrie Irving, early and often, start strong. Dallas needs an easy one tonight. Lobs to Lively and Gafford, and then see if you don't have that, then it's going to be a lot of Luka. Picks night on live from the U.S. Open on Golf Channel at Pinehurst. Tee time start literally in about 12 hours.
Man, it is. I was just looking. I was trying to go in. I
Go
wrote
get
down
your
our
nap in.
picks. I wrote down our picks. So I was going to try to see, okay, what time are all our guys going? And, man, some very early start times for those guys. Good for them, I guess,
Good for them. They're not dew busting. They're kind of sand busting there with the changes to Pinehurst. I just this yin to go backwards. I don't get.
Yeah. I can assure you one thing, Brett. I will not be watching the first tee shot at the U.S. Open tomorrow morning. I
can't say that I'm not when it comes on at 6.
Wow.
I probably will be watching.
I won't be there. I'll see you a couple hours later when I wake up and tune in. But it definitely should be a good night. The basketball tonight, baseball, some really good games, and then get up tomorrow morning for the major. The U.S. Open should be a lot of fun. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Celebrate Father's Day this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Introducing the Ping G430 Max 10K driver. Straighter flies farther with Ping's straightest driver yet. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinder provides you the most accurate distances in golf. Now $50 off. Shop with us this Father's Day in store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
With Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal, you can get your choice of a sausage or bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin with small seasoned potatoes.
And with all that for just $3, it really is a proper breakfast, wouldn't you say? Huh? With a light and fluffy toasted English muffin and crispy seasoned potatoes. Go on, Catherine, give it a go.
Okay. Jolly good morning.
Ah, close love. Grab a proper breakfast with Wendy's new $3 English muffin deal for a limited time. U.S. price and participation may vary. Select request English muffin deal. Discount. Not electronics are to cover. See all price.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Hulu is coming in hot this month with new shows, new movies, and all new seasons of your faves. FX's Clip, the story of one NBA team's racial reckoning starring Lawrence Fishburne. Stream a new season of Short, the underdog hockey team that might just knock your teeth out. Catch the high-speed drama Ferrari starring Adam Driver and Cruz. Get your streaming into high gear this month with so much new stuff to watch on Hulu.
Welcome to The Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started The Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making The Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Everyone is loving what they are doing at Genesis Diamonds right now. Hi, it's Eric Hasseltine inviting you to get the ring of your dreams and take advantage of 0% financing for 5 years. You can get a handcrafted designer ring with a GIA certified diamond for only $100 a month. Wedding bands, color bands, fashion necklaces, just $40 a month. Pick any item, pay $0 down, and spread your payments over 5 years. Don't miss this amazing offer. All natural and lab-grown diamonds included. Now through the end of June only, and only at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.